All right, we are live for Monday Night Football. Who's ready? It's the Browns versus the Broncos here in Denver. Should be a good game. Broncos riding a winning streak. They seem to be getting in their groove this season. They're 7-5 on the season and in the wild card race right now. Browns hasn't gone so well for them this year. They've suffered a lot of losses, haven't really been able to get in sync as a team. They've cycled through a couple of quarterbacks. They've got Jameis Winston in them right now, who seems to be giving them a little bit of life. He brings a certain charisma to the team, and I do feel like the team is rallying around him a little bit here. But we'll have to see how it plays out tonight. They had that upset victory over the Ravens, and they also had an upset victory over the Steelers, so they're winning in the division a bit. But we've got a red-hot Broncos team led by rookie Bo Nix here. And he is, in my opinion, leading the race for NFL Rookie of the Year right now. Actually, at the beginning of the season, I had bet on him to be Rookie of the Year, and it wasn't looking so great to begin with Jaden Daniels beginning so well, and Bo Nix having that rocky start. But Jaden Daniels has slowed down, and Bo Nix is definitely picking up. So we'll have to see what the end of the season brings, and this is another game that could add to his resume. Both teams lining up for the brand new dynamic kickoff, or as I like to call it, the dynamic touchback. Dustin Hopkins getting ready to kick off. And it's off. And what a shock. It is a touchback. So we're going to see the Broncos and Bo Nix on their first drive here. The Broncos are wearing their white helmets on their new uniform set for the first time. I was very critical in the offseason of how these uniforms looked. I thought they just looked uninspired. And this getup doesn't look that great in my opinion. The white helmets look a bit better than I thought they were going to be. The navy blue jerseys and pants are they're pretty mid, but I feel like any orange combination they've rolled out so far has actually exceeded my expectations. So we've got motion by the wide receiver on the right side. Nix has it, rolls out to his right, throws it at the feet of his tight end, and it's incomplete. So we'll have a 2nd and 2 coming out. He threw to Adam Troutman, incomplete. I think Bo Nix has also just shown a lot of maturity in Sean Payton's system. It's really based on short passes and that he can get the ball out fast. I think Payton's trying to get him some quick reads. And there you see it again as he throws to the back, out of the backfield. I believe that's Mims. And he gets about an 8-yard gain. Yep, that's Marvin Mims. So we've got a 3rd and 3 here in the first quarter. First play didn't really get much. Second play, a sizable chunk of yardage, and this is a very manageable 3rd down and 3. Cleveland's defense, here comes the handoff. And he gets stuffed. Thrown back by Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, even though the defense has not been living quite up to their billing this year, he's still one of the best edge rushers in the league. And he just gets by, cuts right in, and is able to take Javonte Williams down. So that's a 3 and out for Denver, and they're going to get ready to punt. And they punt it away. And it's fielded by the Browns. Slipping a little bit, and he's taken down at the 10. So we'll see the first Browns possession coming up soon. 0-0. Broncos and Browns. Jameis Winston comes in. Yeah, it started pretty hot as the Browns starter, coming in for Deshaun Watson, but he kind of cooled down, wasn't quite the savior they thought he was going to be. Now, I think a really interesting player in this matchup is going to be Jerry Jeudy, and somewhat of a revenge matchup against the Broncos here. He came out earlier this weekend, said that the Broncos just didn't know how to use him, and we've been seeing him get some longer touchdowns in the previous weeks with Jameis Winston, so we'll see if he can shine here. Winston has it, fakes a pitch over to Chubb, throws across the middle, and there's Jerry Jeudy right there, going down the sideline for a huge gain. All the way to the Broncos 45. What was I just talking about? Jerry Jeudy with the big play. That's just a great throw across the middle by Jameis Winston, and a great route by Jerry Jeudy separates himself from the defenders. And the Browns get up to the line pretty quick. They're at the Broncos 46 with a 1st and 10. Here comes a handoff to Nick Chubb, and he's going to get about 1. Yeah, Nick Chubb, it's been a little hard for him to come back from that ACL. Just not quite the same yet. But yeah, I do really think that Jerry Jeudy is the X factor in this one. 2nd and 9, Browns come out. Single back, 3 wide receivers. And they hand it to Chubb again. Oh, and he gets a hole this time and is able to get 10 yards and a 1st down. He got some separation on the line of scrimmage that time and was able to get through the hole. Just some nice patient running by Nick Chubb there. All right, they come out with a 1st and 10. There's, that is not Chubb. Hang on. Oh, Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford carries that one for about 4 yards. Second and 4 here. The Broncos defense hasn't shown much fight so far. I really think they need to hold this drive to at least a field goal at this point. Winston under center. It's another handoff to Chubb. And this one's only going to go for a yard. Yeah, so I feel like the Broncos, they kind of stood up on the run that time. We're expecting it a little bit there. The Browns came out with a lot of consecutive runs after that throw to Jeudy. I feel like the Broncos were playing off a little bit. But now their defense is starting to clamp down a little bit. And it's going to be, I believe, a 3rd and 3. But for those who don't know me, I'm Dusty, and I am a huge Carolina Panthers fan, if you can't tell. I'm wearing my Luke Kuechly jersey right now. Elijah Moore in motion, goes back up to the right side. Winston back to pass from the shotgun, lobs it in, no! A little overthrown for Njoku. Had a step, but couldn't hit him. And so this is most likely going to lead to a Cleveland Browns field goal by Dustin Hopkins. Yeah, Njoku has the separation there, but Winston just throws it a little bit too out in front. So it'll be probably about a 45-yard attempt for Dustin Hopkins. We'll see what it officially is in a little bit. If he made it, no, he misses the field goal. So after a promising drive for the Cleveland Browns, Dustin Hopkins misses about a 45-yard field goal, and the Browns come up with 0 points. That's a rough way to start. But yeah, these are two teams that actually made uniform updates in the off season. I am a big fan of uniforms. I track all the uniforms, and there were four major updates this year. The Lions, the Texans, or sorry, I should say five. The Lions, the Texans, the Jets, the Broncos, and the Browns. Although the Browns, it's not really a major update. They only changed their helmet. They went back to the gloss orange helmet and the white face mask, which I think is a lot better. The matte this trend in the NFL towards matte helmets is just not really something I'm getting behind that much. Some teams pull it out. The Vikings looks okay. I feel like the Falcons looks okay too. But every team that's rolling out an alternate now, or like the alternate helmets, most of them are matte helmets. Like my Panthers, I had always wanted a black helmet, but I feel like they botched the execution of it so much. First of all, the logo's monochrome, so it kind of just blends into the black helmet, especially from a distance. And then the black helmet is matte. It should be gloss, but it's not gloss, so definitely loses some points in my book. And I know a lot of Carolina Panthers fans are saying, yeah, we just got to get rid of the silver helmet. I'm actually thinking with this new shell rule that we roll out a new uniform set that has a black helmet, a black helmet, a blue helmet as the alternate, and then our throwback is actually the silver helmet, and that throwback is our 95 logo, and we could do like the 95 logos on the field and have it be a throwback with like our old white jersey or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. What I would like to see if the Panthers ever rebranded. We have not done a major rebrand for the entirety of our existence. We have changed our helmet logo once and kind of our word font. But the overall uniform aesthetic and the numbers, the same. All right, Bo Nix under center with a 1st and 10. Hands it off to Jaleel McLaughlin, who gets some room on the right side. And that's going to be a 12-yard gain as he gets out of bounds. Yeah, we didn't see the Broncos establish the run last possession. This might be able to help, as Jaleel McLaughlin, he did a pretty good job waiting for the hole to open up on the right side there and gets a nice run for a 1st down. All right. We've got Marvin Mims in motion. Comes back the other way, and it's a jet sweep to Marvin Mims. That's the second time he's touched the ball out of the backfield here. And he gets about 3 on the run. And they're hurrying it up a little bit here. Bo Nix in the shotgun. And they fake a toss. And Nix throws. Oh, Sutton was open but dropped it. Started thinking about the run before he secured the catch. And the Browns now have a 3rd and 6. Yeah, number one rule as a wide receiver, in the words of John Madden, first, if you get your hands on it, you got to catch it. Second of all, you cannot start thinking about the run before you secure the catch. Courtland Sutton does that there, and yeah, it misses out on what probably would have been a 15-yard gain. But now it's 3rd and 6. Broncos a little bit past midfield. Nix takes it from the shotgun. Here he is. Throws it, and oh, Sutton catches it this time and does not drop it. Basically gets to the same point of the field. The Broncos are now at the 30-yard line of the Browns. Nice completion. When I'm reacting to these games, I like to consider myself unbiased, but I must say, with me being a Panthers fan, Super Bowl 50, I do despise the Broncos. They are my least favorite team, but they're showing promise with Nix right now, who throws and gets it for about 5 yards. That's Kroll. Lucas Kroll. That's who it is. So the Broncos making their way down the field, having a much more promising drive than the first one, which ended in a 3-and-out. We're about midway through the first quarter, under 8 minutes. Nix gets it, has Javonte Williams in the backfield, who splits out, gets the catch, and they're ruling it incomplete. Probably better anyway, he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, you could see him go out of the backfield, but then the linebacker took him immediately, so even if he caught that, it wasn't going to be a gain. Bo Nix is just kind of checking it down. Obviously, his reads downfield were not there. So this is a big 3rd and 5. The Broncos are in field goal range here. Nix takes the snap. Drops back far. Doesn't see anything. Oh, scrambles and then throws. It's a little bobble by Sutton there, but they're ruling it a catch. And that's enough for a first down for the Broncos on the right side of the field. Courtland Sutton's just going to do a little bit of a drag route and gets past the corner. Able to get the proper leverage and gets it, catches it, slides out of bounds. Nice play. So Nix is going to go under center here. Believe that's Javonte Williams in the backfield. No, it's Jaleel McLaughlin, actually. And the Browns are ready for that one. Only 1 yard on the ground as we go under 7 minutes to play. Yeah, what I'm seeing with Nix here, I think he's learned a lot of not forcing things, taking what the defense gives, and Sean Payton is really good in his systems about giving quick plays and get your first read, get your second read, and then just make a decision. And if that's pulling down and using his athleticism to run with it, that works. He throws on the run, speaking of his athleticism, and that's down to the 1 yard line for Vele. And I think Nix wants to hurry it up because they're so close. And that also might have been close to an incompletion. It's hard to tell. Will the Browns challenge? Doesn't look like it right now. They snap the ball and it's not challenged. Jaleel McLaughlin does not get in. No gain on the run, or maybe half a yard. But the Browns do not have an opportunity to challenge it. But I think that it was a catch. It was close, but I don't think there would have been enough to overturn that. Actually, McLaughlin got a lot closer to the end zone than I thought he did, but it is short. So they come out in a goal line formation. It looks like Javonte Williams is back there now. He is. He's pushing. Oh, he's going to get denied and actually lost a couple of yards. Big stop by the Browns, and the Broncos will be faced with a 3rd and goal as we run under 5 minutes left in the first quarter. We've got 0-0 Broncos and Browns. One thing I don't like about these Broncos helmets is their little triangle stripe thing on the top of their helmet. And they kind of just made it silver for this alternate white helmet. Not really too sure I'm a fan. All right, here's the play. Hands it off to Javonte Williams, and he walks into the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown, Denver, and they go up 6-0. That was a very efficient touchdown drive. Yeah, Javonte Williams just follows, blocks well, finds the hole, and gets it in. And now they're going to try to tack on the extra point. Kick is up and good. And so Denver goes up 7-0 after a, I believe, 70-yard drive downfield following the Browns' missed field goal. You are listening to the Browns-Broncos live Monday night reaction on the Dustytron channel. Believe there's about 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and from what I've seen so far, the Broncos, they had a 3-and-out, and then they had a very efficient drive down the field. The Browns, they had a really good drive down the field, but just kind of stalled. And they were running the ball really well. So if they can keep that going and get some play action passes going, I mean, Winston should have been able to hit Njoku on that one pass. He just wasn't able to get it. So I really feel like the plays are there for the Browns. And if they can start capitalizing a little bit, we might have a game on our hands. But it's at moments like this where the Browns, they are going to have to come back and respond, because if they don't, and the Broncos are able to keep their momentum going, we could start seeing this one get a little ugly. Yeah, you don't want to get down 2 possessions. You want to keep it within 1 possession so that you're always in the game. But yeah, kind of looking forward to the NFL playoffs. I believe, let's take a look here at what the current AFC playoff picture is. I know the Broncos are in it. So yeah, Chiefs are number 1, the Bills are number 2. And the Broncos kick off, and we're going to get another touchback. But yeah, Steelers are 3, Texans are 4. So yeah, the Broncos are in the 7th spot right now. So this game is important for them to win so that they can keep up, because there are teams threatening. I really like Indianapolis. I did like the Dolphins starting to come back on the season before they had that loss to Green Bay. That loss to Green Bay really hurt them, but they are still only 2 games out. 5-7 versus 7-5, but a Broncos win today would make that a lot harder for them. Winston breaks the huddle and goes up to the line. And he's under center. Fakes the handoff to Chubb, lobs it, and this time he gets Njoku for an 11-yard gain. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a corner route for Njoku there, and he gets good leverage on the Broncos linebacker there, able to get a nice 11-yard pickup. Yeah, I feel like whenever I play Madden, I tend to do out routes, especially the more corner routes. If you do just the cross route, you definitely risk the pick six a lot more. With the corner route, you can lob it and get it ahead of the defender if they're in man coverage, and that's kind of what they did there. It's a toss to Chubb, who tosses it back to a wide receiver. Doesn't go very far, only 2 yards. Let's take a look. I don't know 100% the Browns. That's Jeff Swaim. I don't think that's up to date, actually. Oh, it's Kadarius Toney. Oh my goodness, Kadarius Toney got a touch. He had such potential in the league, but just, I mean, he was with the Chiefs. And if you can't make it work with the Chiefs and Andy Reid's system, you're just not doing something right as a player. And Jerome Ford gets the handoff here. Looks like he got about 4, so this will be a 3rd and 3 around midfield for the Browns. And this is a big down for them. They got to get this one. Got to keep this drive going. Can't just go. It can't get 1 first down and then just hand it right back to the Broncos. Let's keep this drive going. As we get to almost under 2 minutes left in the quarter. I believe Zach Allen is playing this game for the Broncos. He's been having a really good season. Oh, Judy's going in motion to the right side. Winston rolls left. Throws. Oh, he's got Elijah Moore! Elijah Moore down to the 10. Elijah Moore down to the 8 where he's finally tackled, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, and you can see that Winston, he freezes the safety by rolling out to the left. They don't know if he's going to run or not. He does a good job holding them up and then fires at the last moment when Elijah Moore gets behind his coverage. And that goes for a big gain for the Browns. Browns season's mostly lost here. They're just kind of trying to play spoiler, and they've got a 1st and goal here. Winston brings his tight end to the line of scrimmage. Oh, he's got his target, and he's got Njoku in the end zone for a touchdown! Touchdown, Browns! Hit it right down the seam. And that's the type of response that you need. That was a great drive by Cleveland. I think they got down the field in like 6 plays. Really quick strike. And a great reaction, a great response to a pretty methodical drive by the Broncos the last drive. And Hopkins' kick goes through the uprights. We are tied at 7. All right, but yeah, going back to the playoff picture, I absolutely, like, I've been a fan of the Lions. I've always thought they were cool, but they always were so bad when I was growing up. And now they're first. I have never seen this. They are like uncontested first in the NFC. You can only really argue the Eagles. And the Eagles, I really think that that's just because of the emergence of Saquon Barkley. And he's probably not going to win MVP. I would love for a running back to finally win MVP, but if Josh Allen's doing enough and he's helping lead the Bills to the playoffs and to a high seed, they're number 2 seed right now, and they're the only team that's beaten the Chiefs. They're probably going to he's probably going to get the MVP, which is unfortunate. Saquon Barkley's not going to get the MVP unless he gets over 2,000 yards on the year. And I think with the extra game, he's got to beat Eric Dickerson's record if he's going to have any chance. Like, running backs are held to such a higher standard than quarterbacks are. The quarterback just has to be the best quarterback in the league if there's no other skill player that's really doing well. Otherwise, it's just going to go to a quarterback. I mean, you saw J.J. Watt's insane season as a defensive end. He didn't get it. I believe it ended up being, it was either Peyton Manning or Tom Brady who got it that year. And it was kind of like, I mean, a down year for Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, but yeah, so I think it was 2012, that one. No, I think that's Adrian Peterson, actually. Yeah, I'd have to look at which one it is. It might have no, 2013 was a good year for Manning. That was the Broncos' big offensive year. Maybe it was 2017. All right, Browns getting ready to kick it off. We've got 1:09 left in the first quarter. Kick is off. And what a shock. It's going to be a touchback. We have not had a return today. I mean, if this is what the NFL really wants to do with this dynamic kickoff, they really should just eliminate the kickoff and put the ball at the 30-yard line. There is nothing happening with it right now. I think last week we did get a return touchdown, but besides that, just every kick is a touchback, so there's just really not much of a point to it. All right, Bo Nix under center. Back to throw. Throws to the feet of Javonte Williams. The Browns snuffed out that screen. 2nd and 10. Incomplete pass. All right, live in the shotgun. Nix back to throw. Throws across the middle. Oh, I think that's an incomplete, but the refs are letting the play run out. The Browns are gonna run it in for a touchdown, but I don't think that's gonna stand. That looked like an incomplete pass to me. But we'll have to see what the refs say. It's a turnover, so it'll automatically be reviewed. Yeah, no, he does not have... Adam Troutman does not get possession of that. He barely makes one step, so I would be very surprised if this play stood. Yeah, to me, that looked like a bang-bang play. All right, they've already confirmed it. It's an incomplete pass. Nix in the shotgun with a 3rd and 10 from his own 30-yard line. And he's getting pressured a bit there, rolling out to his right, throws deep! Oh, and just barely doesn't get Troy Franklin. His teammate at Oregon can't connect. And I've been hearing a lot of talk about they're really hoping that on these long balls that Nix and Franklin can connect. And that they're so close, and I can see it here. And I remember when they were wearing their throwback uniforms. Yeah, it almost looks like Nix was a little late on that throw. Franklin had to readjust himself. So the Broncos punt it away. It's down at the 11-yard line. And that is where the Browns will come out for their 3rd possession of the night. You're listening to my live reactions on the Dustytron channel. But yeah, one of the things that I predicted in this offseason, and a lot of people were kind of against me about it, is that the Jets would be awful this year. And I had bet the under on their win total and that they wouldn't make the playoffs at the beginning of the year. And it turns out like I'm going to be right. I think they got to 3 wins. Yeah, they're 12th in the AFC with 3 wins. And the Bills, they've already clinched the AFC East. That is ridiculous how poor of competition there is in the AFC East. It's making you think of like when the Patriots would clinch the division so quickly. Like the Bills are now the Patriots of the AFC East. There's just not really much competition. the Dolphins were supposed to be competitive this year, but yeah, the injuries to Tua, the unfortunate injuries, have just kind of left them a bit decimated. And I really think it's really curious because I thought, yeah, sure, when you're throwing like Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle out there, it's not going to work. But I thought someone like Tyler Huntley, who had had success in the Ravens offense, would have succeeded in the Dolphins offense, but not the case. He could barely get anything going, but Tua's come back and the Dolphins have been competitive. Yeah, and kind of what I've heard, they've also had the like sneakiest best secondary in the league. Now that could be because teams get up quickly on them and then just run the ball, so it might not be necessarily because they're the best pass defense. I don't know all the specifics on that. But yeah, the Colts are ranked number 8 right now, and I love Anthony Richardson. He reminds me a lot of like a Cam Newton, Josh Allen hybrid. And Josh Allen took 3 years to really become good in the league. And in that third year, he still had that botched play against the Texans where he almost lost the game for them. But they were still able to, granted, they ended up losing that game, but it wasn't because of that one issue, but he was still sloppy, and then he became. So you might not see Anthony Richardson become really good into this league until like year 3 or 4. He's a project and needs time, but he has got so much talent. All right, we've got Kadarius Toney in motion. It's a handoff to Chubb, who gets hit in the backfield, and it's a loss of 2. But yeah, I was talking about Zach Allen earlier. He's on the Broncos now, but I only remember him from the Cardinals when he was playing on the Cardinals. And the reason I remember that is way back when Baker Mayfield was on the Panthers. And I swear in that game, Baker Mayfield got like 5 passes batted down by Zach Allen. And ever since then, I know who Zach Allen is. All right, we got Winston under center with a 2nd and 10. I guess they ruled Chubb's forward progress down at the line of scrimmage. Here's Winston. Oh, there's pressure, but he steps up and throws a nice pass. It looks like he got Elijah Moore again, and that's going to be a Browns first down at about the 21-yard line. And that is the end of the first quarter. We have got 7-7. Broncos versus the Browns. You're listening to my live reactions on the Dustytron channel. But yeah, like you see 7 and 5 is the 7th seed, and then the 8th seed is 6 and 7 at the Colts in the AFC. 8 and 5 is the 7th seed in the NFC. 9 and 3 is the 6th. 10 and 2 is the 5th seed in the NFC. The NFC is just so much more competitive. Now, the curious part about that is that the wild card teams are so good, but the division leaders definitely are lackluster, with the Seattle Seahawks at 7 and 5 being in 3rd place, and then the Falcons. If the Panthers could have pulled out the victory against the Bucs last week, we actually had a legitimate shot to be in contention for the division. We'd only be 2 games out. We'd have a win over the Bucs. We'd have the tiebreaker over the Saints. We did lose the first game to the Falcons. We would have just needed to have another match with them, which we have on the schedule. So winning the division would not have been out of the realm of possibility. I was pretty down on Bryce Young and how lost he looked in the offense, but I've been really encouraged these past, I want to say, 3-4 weeks from what I've seen from Bryce Young and what I've seen from Dave Canales and his scheming of the system. He's been giving him open looks. Bryce Young's looked a lot more confident. And I really think a lot of that is the emergence of Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks being able to have a consistent run game, and we've stabilized the offensive line. We really have been bad on the defensive side, though, and that's really got to work. But as a friend of mine was saying, it looks like the scheme is there. It's just some of the talent is lacking. And so the talent is something that you can fix. So I'm a little hopeful if we can finish out the season strong here. I'm thinking that maybe next year we can be a little bit more competitive in an NFC South that is just really kind of anybody's game. All right. Jameis Winston under center from their own 23. Start of the second quarter. 1st and 10 after that pass to Elijah Moore to end the quarter. Drops back. Good protection, but the pocket's starting to break down. He rolls out to, getting tackled, but able to get rid of the ball. Did it get back to the line of scrimmage? I think it did. Yeah, he had a good pocket for a while here, but then the right side started to break down and he got grabbed on the shoulder. Needed to get rid of that quick before he got dragged down for a sack. All right, he's back to pass and hands it off to Chubb, and that one's swallowed up by the Broncos. And looks like Ford is coming in for Chubb. Got a 3rd and 10 coming up for the Browns. 7-7. Broncos and Browns tied. Browns at their own 23-yard line with a 3rd and 10. Jameis from the shotgun. Throws across the middle, and it's batted away by the Broncos. And so that's going to be a 3 and out by the Browns. McMillan with the hit away. With the deflection. Might have been some contact there, but I like the no call. And he punts. Bounces out of bounds. Looks like it's going to be at about the Broncos' 37-yard line, and that's where the Broncos will take over. Yeah, I kind of feel like either of these teams, they're getting like really good drives downfield or they're going 3 and out. And there's kind of no in between right now. But yeah, I'm going to take a look at what season. Oh, right, it was Aaron Rodgers. I think it was the 2014 season. He had 20 and a half sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and I think he had a couple of touchdowns. Yeah, he had a pick 6 and 3 receiving touchdowns. Yeah, I forgot he was getting the receiving touchdowns that year too by the goal line. So really, yeah, kind of going back to the point about at least Barkley has in his favor that he's an offensive player, and yeah, it's been how long since a defensive player has won MVP? Yeah, I think it might be Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, Lawrence Taylor won it in 1986. It has been an offensive player every year since 1986. You can kind of tell that the NFL is trying to emphasize offense. All right, Knicks. This is the first play back. It's a handoff to Jaleel McLaughlin, and it looks like it's a loss of 3 on the play. Yeah, the Broncos have had a little bit of trouble getting their running game going. Their passing game has been working decently against this Browns defense, though. They call it a loss of 1, it looks like. Knicks from the shotgun. He's got 4 wide receivers. A little bit of miscommunication with Vele there. Looks like he threw over the wrong shoulder. It's an incomplete pass. There is a flag on the play, and wow, it's the second quarter, and it's taken that long to get our first flag. I have seen so many penalties this NFL season. It's just kind of... it drains the game a little bit, but that is pass interference on the Browns, so that's probably why it looked a little weird. The receiver was trying to get there but couldn't. Yeah, Vele, I had to spot start him in one of my fantasy leagues due to a bunch of injuries I had. Yeah, he definitely gets interfered with there. And now the Broncos have a first down at the 46 of the Browns. And there's a handoff. I think that's to Audric Estime. Gets it to the 40. It's a rookie that I drafted in a couple of dynasty leagues. He had some promise. Hasn't really shown too much yet, but he's getting a few more carries in this kind of odd Broncos backfield. Yeah, what happened to Javonte Williams? I mean, I guess it's probably the ACL tear. Just never was quite the same after that. But yeah, he used to be the bell cow, and now he's splitting carries with Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime. All right, Bo Nix back to pass, throws. The ball bats up in the air, and it's intercepted by Greg Newsome. Down at the 31, it bounced oddly off his wide receiver, gets hit up into the air, and Greg Newsome comes down with the interception. That's a huge play for the Browns as the Broncos were starting to drive down the field, and their defense able to come up with the play. Yeah, just a really weird bounce on this play. Troy Franklin, yeah, kind of bounces off his head. And it falls into the hands of Greg Newsome. Yeah, I actually saw a play that was kind of similar to this, but it went in the offense's favor. It was the Cardinals and Vikings game. It got tipped at the line of scrimmage, popped up in the air, but then Michael Wilson was able to come down with it over, I forget what his first game, I think it's Alex Van Ginkel. He leaped up high for it, but Wilson just pulled it down, and yeah, the Cardinals avoided disaster there. Unfortunately, they still lost the game. I was pretty impressed with Arizona in that one, that they had the lead for the majority of it, but they kind of were just not able to take advantage of their opportunities. They kept settling for field goals, and yeah, it just wasn't enough. And yeah, they fell at the very end for a final touchdown drive to the Vikings. But yeah, we'll have to see what the Browns can do with this drive. Last drive didn't go so great. Needed to punt on that one. Winston under center at their own 31-yard line. Hands it off. That's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb having some trouble getting going today. Stuffed at the line of scrimmage for nothing. All right, Winston from the shotgun, back to pass. Throws incomplete through the hands of Njoku. And this might be another quick one. It's 3rd and 10. Just under 12 minutes left in the second quarter. 7-7, Broncos and Browns tied. Yeah, it just slips right through the hands of Njoku there. And Winston drops back, fires across first down marker. It's caught by the receiver. First down for the Browns. I'll have to figure out who that was. Looks like it's Mike Woods. Don't really know who that is. Winston getting them up back to the line. Kadarius Toney in motion, going to the far side, right side of the formation. And it's out of the shotgun. Winston rolls right, throws, his pass gets batted. It's incomplete. Nice play by the Broncos edge to bat the ball away. Justin Strand was who knocked that down. All right, they come out of shotgun again. It's Jerome Ford in the backfield. Goes to Winston's left side, receives the handoff. Oh, and gets a hole on the right side. He's going down to the Broncos' 32-yard line and a Browns first down. Yeah, this kind of looks like it's an inside zone, and he's able to kind of switch the formation. He goes from the left side to the right side, able to get a big hole there. Makes a man miss and gets into the open field. So that's a nice run by Jerome Ford. And they now have it at the Broncos' 32-yard line, getting close to striking distance. Winston rolls out to his left off play action. Doesn't see anything downfield, getting chased, and he's taken down. Looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage, so I don't know if that's going to count as a sack. But yeah, good decision by Winston, be able to recognize that nothing was open downfield. He just kind of tucked it and got back to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, it's an interesting... Njoku looked like he had a shot there for a second, but kind of went back across where the corner was. Probably how the play was designed, but I feel like if he had kept going left, he would have gotten open. So Winston now hands it to Jerome Ford, who's going to plow forward for about 5, went up the left side off tackle. But yeah, the Browns got to find a way to get out of this Deshaun Watson situation. It's going to go down as the worst trade in NFL history, I guarantee you. They are in such a bad cap situation right now. And this was their year. This was their year that they had to capitalize. There's too many people they're going to have to pay. Winston back. Rolls out to his left, getting hit, throws it, and it's incomplete for Jerry Jeudy. That was 3rd and 5. And so this is going to bring up a field goal. It's probably going to be similar to the one they kicked earlier and missed. It's about a 45-yarder, I think. Yeah, I feel like Winston, if he was going to roll out there, didn't really take a wide enough angle and throws a bit across his body. They're very dangerous. Jameis Winston is an electric player, can make electric plays, but he's also he's a gunslinger, and you kind of live and die by it. He makes some incredibly reckless plays sometimes, too. Dustin Hopkins missed his first attempt. Can he make this one? Looks like this one is through the upright and good, and so the Browns take the lead 10-7 over the Denver Broncos. You are listening to my live reaction on the Dustytron channel. But yeah, my preseason prediction was a rematch of the 49ers and the Chiefs, I believe, but I did not have the Chiefs winning. I had the 49ers winning, and it's easy to point out now that, yeah, the 49ers aren't particularly good, but I really think it's the injuries that are hurting them this time. But yeah, this was kind of like the Browns. I mean, the Browns weren't where the talent level that the 49ers were at, but this was the 49ers' year to win it, and they're gonna start not being able to pay players next year. And yeah, it was a good run, but they just never could get the Super Bowl, and it looks like they're definitely not going to this year. There was a lot of interesting talk that maybe Daniel Jones would go to the 49ers, and I think it would be interesting to see if Daniel Jones actually succeeded in the if Daniel Jones was able to succeed in the 49ers offense, because I feel like it is very conducive to quarterbacks. Granted, Trey Lance is the only one who didn't work in there, but you saw quarterbacks like Nick Mullins have some success in that offense. So Kyle Shanahan just knows how to make an offense work for a quarterback, and you can kind of really throw anyone in there. Granted, I don't think Purdy has the greatest arm talent, but I think he's able to run Shanahan's system, and that's what makes him dangerous as a quarterback. But yeah, without Christian McCaffrey in there now, the injuries are just piling up. McCaffrey, it sounds like he's going to be out for 6 weeks with the PCL injury, and that's the end of the season. There's only 5 more games for him, so that's game over, basically. Which is a shame. I had gotten him off IR in my fantasy leagues, and now he's just going right back on. So, but yeah, we've got 8 minutes and 49 seconds left in the second quarter. It is 10-7. Browns over the Broncos. It's 10 unanswered points by the Browns. Broncos haven't really been able to get too much going since that one drive. It wasn't their first drive, it was their second drive, where they were able to go down and get the touchdown. Yeah, the Browns defense has been stifling them a bit. Hopkins getting ready to kick off. And there's the kick. And wouldn't you know, it goes back through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Broncos are going to start from their own 30-yard line. All right, so Bo Nix in the shotgun. Back to throw, and he's got pressure coming. It looks like he just throws it away. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Yeah, and seeing a little bit more of that interception. It looks like it was just a great play by Ward, Denzel Ward of the Browns. He was able to step in front and tip it. It wasn't a bounce off Troy Franklin's helmet. All right, they're going shotgun again. Three wide receivers, one back in the backfield. Looks like it's Jaleel McLaughlin. They throw it to him in the flat, and that's gonna. Oh my goodness! He broke a tackle and almost lost more yardage. Looks like he's able to salvage it for one. But yeah, the Browns defense stifling the Broncos here. They don't even give them the yard. It's 3rd and 10. And it looks like we got some laundry on the field. The flag. Looking like an illegal shift on the Broncos. So that's going to cost them. They declined the penalty, so no, it's going to stay 3rd and 10. Yeah, and I think that's the right call. You've got them on 3rd down. You've been holding their offense pretty well in check. Just try to get them off the field. You never know on a 2nd and 15. They get a draw up the middle, get 7, make it a better 3rd down situation. So I think that's the right call. Out of shotgun again. Here's Nix. He throws it deep. He's got a target, but there's 2 guys. Sutton, no, not able to come down with it. Yeah, it looked like he was separate for a moment, but the safety was able to come over and help break that one up. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised there. Granted, we've been talking about the fact that the running game hasn't been working particularly well today. So they went 3 straight passes there, and all of them incomplete. The punt goes away. It looks like it goes out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. And so the Browns will have a long drive to go. As Winston leads the offense again, the Browns lead the Broncos and in Denver here 10-7 as we have 8 minutes and 9 seconds left in the second quarter. The first quarter went pretty quick, but there have been so many incomplete passes in the second quarter. We're only halfway through it. Looking at some stats over here. All right, Winston comes out under center. Looks like he's got Jerome Ford in the backfield. Ford's been getting more carries. He seems to be a little bit more explosive than Chubb today. And it's a play action pass. Winston uncorks it. He's got Judy, but he overthrew him. Oh! If Winston hits that, that's a touchdown. Or at least a really big game. Judy has been getting open in this game, but besides the catch on the first play, he hasn't had anything. Now the Broncos, they just don't pick him up, and Winston just leads him a bit too far there. But that could have been a huge, big play, a big explosive play. And he just does not connect. And we've got a handoff to Ford now on 2nd down. Looks like he's going to fall forward for 3. And the Browns will have 3rd down. And they got to be careful here because you don't want to force anything. A turnover here is really bad because you're right up against your own end zone. So do a pretty conservative play call. And if it's not there, just get rid of it. And it looks like we might have a timeout on the field. Some problems with the play clock. As we're at 7 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. Looks like they put time on the clock. All right, clock is running again. Winston in the shotgun. Jerome Ford to his right. Winston drops back. Broncos getting there on the rush. Tries to dump it off to Njoku. I think that ball was out of reach. He does kind of get tackled, but I feel like it was after the ball went over his head, so I wouldn't have called interference on that. Looks like there's no flag, and the Browns are going to have to punt. Yeah, I think Njoku has to turn that one upfield. He continues running just horizontally to Winston. You got to pick up the first down there. He should have started running vertically a bit, because I think he had some leverage there on the corner. But here we go with another punt. It's taken by Marvin Mims, who's going to get tripped up at about his own 32-yard line for a return of about 5 yards. It is 10-7, Browns over the Broncos in the second quarter with 7 minutes and 7 seconds left. You are listening to my live reaction on the Dustytron channel. But yeah, the NFC West is a very strange division right now. I feel like every week someone else is in the lead of that division. The Seahawks have kept the lead for, I think, 2 weeks running now. It'll be interesting to see who they play next week. But I actually bet on the Rams making the playoffs when they were down and they got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back and they were starting to pick up some momentum. They're ranked 10th right now, but they're only 1 game out of first. I think they can easily win that division. And I mean, actually looking at the 49ers, like their path to the playoffs is probably winning the division, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Actually, just noticing that a couple of teams are officially eliminated, that being the Giants, the Patriots, and the Raiders. I feel a little bad about the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots, they don't quite have everything there right now. They have shown flashes, and I think Drake May is showing a lot. He had a really good stat line from this last game. I think it was 24 of 30, but it just wasn't quite enough to beat the Colts. They give up the 2-point conversion at the end to Anthony Richardson, and that's a gutsy call by Shane Steichen there. And I know a lot of his play calling was coming into question, especially, and some of his coaching was coming into question with benching Anthony Richardson. But kind of like Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson has played better coming back from his benching. So you never really know the context of some of these decisions. You only know what they tell the public and kind of some rumors that come out from beat writers. You never really know the whole story. So there may have been a very good reason they benched him. But yeah, if Bryce Young somehow... That's almost a fumble handoff by Jaleel McLaughlin, but he's able to corral it and is able to get 8 yards on the run. So Denver going back to the ground game a bit here. We'll see if they continue with it. They completely abandoned it last drive. Yeah, just a sloppy handoff there. But McLaughlin does a good job able to secure that handoff, and is able to take it for 8 yards. The Broncos at their own 41-yard line. Mims in motion going from the right side to the left side. And that's Javonte Williams. Not doing much like he always does. No gain. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. I was really big on Javonte Williams, and even before the ACL injury, he just did not perform. Um, so yeah, after his first season where because I remember his rookie season, I was big on him in some redraft leagues, but I drafted him and he took forever to get into the starting lineup, and then finally started playing well. But then, because you see that happen a lot of the times with rookie running backs, and you see it with Audric Estime right now with the Broncos, they really don't start getting carries until the end of the year. It's actually Marvin Mims in the backfield there, but it's a throw and complete to Sutton for about 15 yards and a Broncos first down. Believe that's Sutton's second catch of the night. Able to get some separation on the back shoulder fade. And a nicely placed ball by Bo Nix. Yeah, and I know he's got an interception on his stat sheet tonight, but that one wasn't his fault. Just a freak play where the ball got popped out. It should have just been a routine deflection, but weird bounce caused it to pop up in the air. Bo Nix from the shotgun. Oh, there's a corner blitz coming, but he gets rid of the ball. I believe he dumped it off to his fullback, and that's another first down. Goes for about 17 yards. Nate Adkins is a tight end. He gets that catch. Yeah, just a simple out route to the left side. And they fake the handoff to Javonte Williams. It's Troy Franklin who gets some separation. It's on the screen. He gets it to the 1-yard line. And the Broncos in business. First and goal, Denver. Yeah, they set up this screen well. The Browns aren't able to get him in the backfield, and there's some open fields in front of them. And we've got it right here. It's a rollout. Nix surveying, trying to throw, attempted to get it to Javonte Williams, but it's incomplete. There is a flag on the play. I wouldn't be surprised if that was offensive holding. Browns players don't look too happy, though, so it might be going against them. So they're calling holding on the defense, it looks like. So they will, basically, it's going to just replay the down. They were on first and goal. They can't get any closer to the end zone, so it's just going to be, yeah, Delpit's holding him there. It's a good call. It's preventing him from getting away from him. He's kind of stumbling. Troutman in motion, goes from the right side to the left side. Nix under center. Hands it off to the fullback, and we have got a fullback touchdown for Denver. Fullback touchdown. Michael Burton, you don't see that very often. Although looking at their roster online, they list him as a running back. Maybe fullback isn't even a recognized position in the NFL anymore. But he came out of the fullback position from the eye, so I would call him a fullback. And to add the extra point here, it's good. And so the Broncos take a 4-point lead with 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second quarter. (14-10), Broncos over the Browns. I just posted in the chat, it's kind of offensive rookie of the year is coming down to two players, Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, who's going to come out on top with it? I really the Commanders, they finally had a good game this week against Tennessee, so he's starting to stake his claim a little bit more to that. But we'll have to see what transpires down the stretch, because really, I think if the season were to end today, I think you got to give it to Bo Nix. And Jerome Ford catches that kickoff, and it's a touchback. 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second quarter. 14-10, Broncos over the Browns. You are listening to my live reactions here on the Dustytron channel. All right, the Browns have the ball back, starting at their own 30-yard line. Winston from the shotgun. Gets the snap. It's a handoff to Jerome Ford, and he's taken down for probably, it looks like they're marking him for no gain. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 coming up. All right, we've got a 2nd and 10 here for the Browns. Winston, back to pass. Throws, it's complete to Njoku. Gets about 5 on the play, so this is a much more manageable 3rd down. The Browns have been getting into a lot of 3rd and long situations today, and I really think that making it 3rd and manageable will give them more options, and maybe even they could run the ball with Jerome Ford. They've seemed to have some success with that. Winston throws, gets his target. Have to check who number 80 is. Oh, I think that's Jamari Thrash. Yeah. I had him drafted in a really deep dynasty league. Put him on my taxi squad. Didn't even know he was playing, but yeah, looks like he caught a pass. Zach Allen a little shaken up on that play. As I mentioned earlier, I know Zach Allen from batting down all of Baker Mayfield's passes in the Panthers game against the Cardinals 2 years ago. It was incredibly tedious. But hey, I am super happy for Baker Mayfield how he was able to resurrect his career, because it wasn't looking good after that stint with the Panthers. But yeah, he's a fierce competitor, and he's got the Bucs well in the playoff race in the NFC, and got them to the playoffs last year, and they won the playoff game against the Eagles. Elijah Moore moves in motion a bit. Winston in the backfield. It's a 1st and 10. Throws and got it to Jeudy. That was close. The corner was closing in. But Jerry Jeudy able to catch it at the Broncos' 40-yard line. As the Browns trying to get something going before halftime as we go close to the 2-minute warning here. Looks like they are not going to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning hits. Yeah, Jameis threading the needle there. Makes up a little bit for that overthrow with Jerry Jeudy the other time he was targeting him. That was a nice pass to Jerry Jeudy across the middle there. So we've reached the 2-minute warning. Broncos 14, Browns 10. You're listening to my reactions to Monday Night Football here on the Dustytron. But yeah, just a roundup of what's going on. Actually, I'll save the roundup for halftime. We can talk about some of the games that happened this week. We had a really interesting slate of games. Could talk about the Bears and the debacle that was Chicago on Thanksgiving. And yeah, I believe Kirk Cousins in the Falcons game threw 4 interceptions. Yeah, he threw 4 interceptions. That's reminiscent of the game against the Steelers in week 1, I believe. But yeah, what a choke job by the New York Jets this week. They were up 14-0 and 21-7. And from what I heard, I didn't see all the game, but it looked like it sounded like Rodgers missed Garrett Wilson in the end zone, which would have made it 28-7. And then had a pick 6 from Leonard Williams. I think it was Leonard Williams. 92 yards back the other way. All right. Winston from the shotgun from the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Throws quick. Got it to Njoku, but it's only for 3 yards. Both teams have all three timeouts. We'll see how the how the Browns and the Broncos for that matter want to manage the clock here. Yeah, I could see if the clock is running, they get the Browns to 3rd down, the Broncos might call a timeout. Oh, the Broncos actually call a timeout now, so they're thinking of trying to get the ball back already. All right, Winston back to throw. Throws, it's a quick shot to Judy. Looks like he caught the ball and got out of bounds for the 1st down. That was a nice, sleek catch on the right sideline. I think he was working against Patrick Surtain. Yeah, and I'll always think about that. The Panthers had the opportunity to draft Patrick Surtain. Instead, they went with J.C. Horn, which I like J.C. Horn's aggressiveness, but I really think that Patrick Surtain has been the better corner. All right, Winston back to throw. Throws. Oh no! Winston is intercepted! Intercepted and going back the other way! What a turn of events before halftime! Bonito intercepts it and takes it the distance! And hey, Steven, how's it going? I'm doing well. Thanks for joining the live chat. And that makes it 20-10, and that is a major turn of events. And that really could change the tide of the game here. And there's a kick, and it's through the upright. Thanks, yeah, Kuechly jersey. Big Panthers fan. Yeah, that's it. I think that's just a good play by Bonito. The pass is a little inside there. And yeah, Winston. That's a tough break. He was doing pretty well, but yeah. That one's gonna hurt. So we've got 21-10 Broncos over the Browns. I have a good amount of Panthers jerseys. When they I got a lot of the early 2000s era Panthers jerseys because before Cam Newton joined the team, we weren't very popular, so I was able to get those pretty cheap. So I built out my jersey collection there. But yeah, then I've picked up a couple of other of our popular players. The problem with Carolina right now is that they've recycled through players so fast that I haven't really been able to get a player. I wanted to get a Jeremy Chin jersey. I really liked him as a player, but then we shipped him off. I did get a Brian Burns jersey, but then we shipped him off too. So it's kind of hard until we really establish our identity and start winning again and kind of get that winning culture to really have like some stable superstars, foundational players on the team that you can root for. So, yeah, I have a Bryce Young jersey. It's looking a little bit better right now. He's doing a bit better now, but yeah, for a while it wasn't looking too good. But I do like what I've seen for the past 3 to 4 weeks from Bryce Young. I don't have them readily accessible right now. But yeah, I know I've got Peppers, D'Angelo Williams, Delhomme. Definitely some of the older classics there. All right, so let's see what the Browns try to do before the end of the half here. They might just try to take it into halftime. There's Winston. And it's an incomplete pass. So probably the worst thing you could do right now if you're the Browns. Oh, thanks for the stub, Steve. Yeah, maybe I can bring a couple of down during halftime. But yeah, the worst thing the Browns could do right now is give the ball back to the Broncos with time. Because, yeah, the Broncos, with that incomplete pass, are probably going to call timeouts. Elijah Moore catches the pass here, about a 5-yard gain. So we've got a 3rd and 4, yeah, and I bet the Broncos are calling time there. Yeah, they are Reeboks. So yeah, I'll grab like a Peppers, probably D'Angelo Williams. Yeah, no problem. Got about a minute and 27 left in the half, I think. All right, Winston back to throw. Throws. Oh, he gets Jerry Jeudy. They're across the 50-yard line now. So the Browns being aggressive, trying to make up for that mistake before the end of the half here. Let's see what they can do. Because even if they can get 3, that makes it an 8-point game. All right, we got Winston back to throw. Throws. Caught by Jeudy and gets out of bounds. So the Browns, they have all 3 timeouts still, and they are making progress down the field. That's about a 12-yard pickup. So, yeah, the Browns now at the 35-yard line. Winston in the shotgun. Throws across the middle, gets Elijah Moore this time. That's to the 22, and if you're the Browns, you want to control the clock here. You want to make sure there is no time for Denver after this drive. They're hurrying up. They've got 3 timeouts. They can really do whatever they want here. Oh, yeah. I was talking about the the Dolphins a little bit earlier. I had pretty big expectations for them this year. I thought they might be a little... Actually, no. My preseason prediction was they were going to win the division because I thought the Bills were going to have a down year. That's kind of proven wrong to this case. I really think the Dolphins, it's Tua's injury that kind of led to their down year this year, but they're not out of it. Like, if the Browns can somehow come back and get this victory over the Broncos, like, the Dolphins are really only 2 games out of the wild card. Now, if the Broncos win this, it's 3 games, and they can't get the division, so gonna be kind of tough. But yeah, I going into the season for the Panthers, I was just hoping to see progress, especially on the offensive side. I was really hoping to see something from Bryce Young, and I'm seeing that the last couple of weeks. So I think we're at least developing something that we can build on. So I was going to say 7 wins this year for the Panthers were going to be an amazing season because we have so many holes to fill on our team. Yeah, and it's really hard to work yourself out of an early hole. All right, Winston back to pass, throws. It got it to Woods, but he drops it with the hit from the Broncos defender there. So yeah, actually looking at the NFL playoff picture right now, looks like the Dolphins have an 11% chance of making the postseason. That's better than my Panthers, who are less than 1% right now. So you got some hope. All right, we got Winston. He's throwing. Gets it to Elijah Moore down at the 18. That was 2nd and 10. We're now going to have 3rd and about 8, I think. And the Browns used their 2nd timeout. We've got 21-10, Broncos over the Browns. Yeah, and I feel like Jerry Jeudy, he's actually having a really big game today. And I talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast here, that my stream that I'm doing here is that basically I thought Jerry Jeudy was going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in this game with his revenge match against the Broncos. He came out before the game, said that they didn't utilize him right, and he's been doing well with Winston and the Browns recently. Winston throws to Woods over the... Oh, no, that's Kadarius. No, it is Woods. And he gets it down to the 5. They call their final timeout. The Browns have a 1st down. Yeah, that is always if you're bottom feeding and getting wins there. Yeah, I really do feel like Miami just doesn't really play well in cold weather, and that just reared its ugly head against the Packers on Thanksgiving. Yeah, Packers, I'm not quite sure what to think of them yet. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs, and maybe they can make some noise, but they're so young, I think they're still a little bit of ways from being a true competitor. All right, we've got Winston at the 9-yard line, rolls out. Oh, off the hands of Elijah Moore. Incomplete pass, 2nd and goal. Yeah, they've used all their timeouts, so they can't really run here unless they wanted to run and spike immediately. But if you're doing that, you're kind of resigning yourself to a field goal before the half. Pass is a little bit outside to Elijah Moore there. All right, 2nd and goal. Winston back to throw, throws it quick. Oh, risky pass between two defenders trying to hit Njoku. But yeah, that was scary, that one. If you're looking to not do a pick six, this is not the way to do it. Throwing in between two defenders. But a good play by the Broncos DB there, Jones, to break it up. And we've got 3rd and goal, I believe. Yep, 3rd and goal, Browns. It'll be interesting to see if they... Oh. Had a little skip there, looks like. But it appears that Njoku got a touchdown. Yeah, he's able to get separation. They kind of just run a fade to him. And he's able to get a touchdown in the right corner in the end zone. So the Browns looked like disaster at the end of half, but are able to storm downfield and make the point differential the same as it would have been before the Broncos interception return touchdown. And there's the kick, and it goes through the uprights, so the Browns get it back down to a 4-point lead for the Broncos. It's 21-17. Thank you for all those who are listening here on the Dustytron channel. Dustytron channel. So yeah, we'll see. The Broncos have one timeout. They're probably not going to do anything before half here. We've got 13 seconds left in the second quarter. Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that, Steve, about the cold weather teams and the cold weather and the warm weather teams. Basically, it seems like for some reason the Jaguars actually can go into cold weather and perform decently. I feel like the Jaguars are the only team that does that, and maybe sometimes the Bucks, but all the other warm weather teams tend to not do so well in the cold weather. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. All right, there's Hopkins with the kick. Yeah, this is actually my first stream, just kind of doing this for fun. Getting a little practice with some commentating as well. So that kickoff goes back for a touchback, as we see with this dynamic kickoff. Probably like 80% of them go for touchbacks. And there's the knee, and so the Broncos are taking this to halftime. We have got the Broncos up 21-17. Oops. All right, so we are at half, and I will go grab a couple of jerseys if you're interested in seeing them. Oh, I will be back. All right, I am back. And I brought 3 jerseys with me. So first, classic. Hopefully he gets into the Hall of Fame this year. Steve Smith, got him in black. Nice Reebok jersey there. Let's see if the camera will look at it. Reebok there. Love Steve Smith, one of my favorite Panthers of all time. Then this is a flash from the past. Muhsin Muhammad. He's probably one of our second best receiver. I think he's our second best receiver in franchise history. Had that amazing 2004 season where he went for, I think it was 14 touchdown catches and 14 catches, and it was over 1,400 receiving yards. And then the last one here, got blue Julius Peppers. That one's pretty cool there. This was actually the first Panthers jersey I ever bought. It actually was on clearance when he got traded to the Chicago Bears. So yeah, Julius Peppers right there. Got into the NFL Hall of Fame this year. I'm really hoping that Steve Smith follows suit this year. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Smith and Kuechly are finalists for the Hall of Fame this year. I'm not 100% certain. Oh, Grossi! Oh boy, we're getting a bunch of people in here. Tom Grossi, oh my goodness. It is a Grossi raid. Thanks, Grossi. Whoa, we are exploding. Hey, everyone here. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We've got some fun content that I was fiddling around with ages ago. Kind of just hopped on here for fun. Oh, is this a Perna Grossi raid? Sorry, Steve. It went from just you here chatting, and I think we've gone up to 200 live viewers. Whoa. Thanks, everyone. There's so many. Perna rating Dusty. Whoa. There's so many comments here, I can't keep up. But yeah, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about myself. I'm a huge Panthers fan. Been a Panthers fan since they were a team back in '95. Yeah. And I've stuck with the team through thick and thin. Been to 2 Super Bowls. For those coming from Perna's stream, don't like your Broncos, but they are winning right now. I'm still bitter about that Super Bowl 50 loss. So now I will. Yeah, I know. I'm really liking what I've been seeing from Bryce Young for the last 2 weeks, or last 3-4 weeks. Something about getting benched and then coming back in. I guess he kind of realized his spot wasn't guaranteed, because at the beginning of the season he looked terrible. But yeah, he was able to kind of correct himself, and he's been competitive with playoff teams these last couple of weeks. So, yeah, generally the jerseys are large, I think. Is the franchise quarterback? Not sure. I'm willing to give him another year. If we build around him and I can see some good progress next year, I think that he could be. I mean, he's showing some ability to play in the clutch. He's had 2 really good game-tying and game-leading drives at the end of the game, they should have been game-winning drives, just couldn't really hold on. Travis Hunter. So I'll confess, I don't really know enough of the incoming draft class to have a determination on that yet. I've heard some of the argumentation against Travis Hunter is that he plays in a lower conference, and so he's putting up gaudy numbers in a lower conference. But yeah, I'm not too big on... I haven't been following college football too much. Now, I'm hoping with the expansion of the 12-team bracket this year that I'll follow those games more and know a lot more about the incoming draft class from that. David Tepper is not getting better. He is not getting better. He's still a meddlesome owner. I think we're succeeding in spite of him. I think Canales is really... inspiring the team, and we're starting to come together as more of a cohesive unit. And even though we're losing, still being competitive has an infectious effect on the team, and you start to try more and you get more cohesive. I really think the problem with the team right now is the defense. We've got some offensive things to build upon here, and I really think if we can get our defense in tow, we could be like a 500 team next year. Thanks for all the subs, everyone. Yeah, that was a crazy Perna Grossi raid there. I know. We left way too much time on the clock with the Chiefs. Commenting on the Eagles-Panthers game. I haven't decided yet. I'm not really sure. This is honestly my first stream I've ever done. So I kind of just tried this game for the heck of it. And we'll see what comes of it. I might be focusing on Monday night. I might focus on matchups. I haven't really decided what I'm doing with this yet. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, Eagles-Panthers, our run defense is terrible. If I were to make a prediction, I would say that probably Saquon is going to run all over us and start making his bid for MVP a little bit more clear. Because I was talking about it at the beginning of this stream, that basically... I want Barkley to win MVP, but I really think it's going to be... Josh Allen, because a quarterback just always tends to win those. And it's been an offensive player every year since 1986, and I think only 7 of those haven't been quarterbacks or something like that. But I would love to see... It was Adrian Peterson who won the last running back MVP. Or non-quarterback, I should say. He wasn't running back, but non-quarterback. But yeah, I think the bar for Josh Allen is going to be a lot lower than it is for Saquon. Saquon's got to set the rushing record if he's going to get it. But yeah, I was talking with Steve, who was on the call with me, on the stream with me earlier, that I have other Panthers jerseys and stuff, and I had shown the Peppers jersey, I had Steve Smith, and I brought down Musa Muhammad. So yeah, have a collection of Panthers jerseys. If I do streams more often, I'll be probably switching them up and stuff. I haven't really decided. Yeah, I know. Really give it to a running back. I really hope Saquon keeps this pace for the rest of the year because I would love to see a running back win it. It's just a default quarterback thing, and I feel like if Saquon falters down the stretch, Josh Allen leads the Bills to the division, maybe even the number one seed. I think Josh Allen gets it. I'm starting to think Lamar Jackson's kind of out of the running, though, especially after his team lost to the Eagles. So... But yeah, we just had a kickoff go out of the back of the end zone. Yeah, the Nikes tend to, like, be trimmer. I don't like how the Nikes feel in comparison to the Reebok. The Reeboks are larges. And I tend to get Nike larges too, but the Nikes are smaller. Winston under center. All right, we're back in action. 1st and 10. Winston throws to the sideline, gets it to Elijah Moore for a 12-yard gain, but there is a flag on the play. Let's see what this flag is. Oh, I gotta update my graphic here. We are in the 3rd quarter now. Reposition that. All right. 3rd quarter underway. Maybe next stream I'll put on the Peppers one. I got Keekly tonight. All right, Winston. Back to throw. Throws it to Elijah Moore. And we've got another flag. So I was just talking about how few flags there were in the first half. But yeah, Elijah Moore gets the swing pass. But yeah. We'll see what the flag is here. So from what I've heard with Sirianni, he's bad at situational football and he's being bailed out by his talent, which the Eagles have a ton of talent. Yeah, because A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, so many offensive weapons. Winston throws to the outside, gets it to Elijah Moore, and he's taken down. Looks like it's about a 3-yard gain. Yeah, and something more about Sirianni, I think he just kind of rubs people the wrong way with kind of how he reacts sometimes. All right, Winston. Oh, it's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 3, couldn't get it to Njoku. Looks like he was probably going to be stopped short anyways. So, JP Bugs, you say that Steve Smith Sr. is your favorite Panthers player? I'm kind of torn. I really, really like Steve Smith, but I really feel like Cam Newton was the player who elevated our team to a different level. That being said, Cam Newton also didn't dive on that fumble and played poorly in that Super Bowl that we should have won. So I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Cam Newton. He definitely put our team on the map, but there were times where the game script wasn't going his way, and he kind of started pouting and he had attitude problems. Oh, the Ravens connection. Oh my gosh, when Steve Smith came back on the Ravens and played the Panthers, he destroyed us. And he said he was going to too, and you knew he was going to be a man of his word on that one. Steve Smith was not the type of guy to drop a grudge. Although he and the Panthers organization have patched things up in recent years. But yeah, I've got yeah, the Casey illegal procedure kick in Super Bowl 38. I I still think Brady probably would have led the game tying drive down the field. Adam Vinatieri's field goal just wouldn't have been as much of a chip shot, but still, it was like, okay, you're handing Tom Brady the win here, giving him the ball at the 40-yard line. But yeah, for all of those who are still on the stream, my channel is kind of a parody channel of sorts. I've got some sports content out there. I was trying to fiddle around with a little bit of fun AI voiceover stuff. I've got so I started running a series called The Nerd with Colin Cownerd, where instead of talking about football, he talks about nerd topics. So there's a couple of fun videos on there. And then I also did a parody song about Bryce Young being hopeless at the beginning of the season. I was writing it at the beginning of the season, and I was holding off for a little bit because I wanted to see the first game against the Saints. And then they lost 47-10, and I had to release the song. So it's a parody of Good Charlotte's Young and the Hopeless, and it's called Bryce Young and I'm Hopeless. So, but he's kind of proven me wrong a little bit in recent weeks. All right, Broncos have the ball. Bo Nix, that looked like interference by Denzel Ward, and he's going to get flagged for it. Yeah, Sutton trying to come back to the ball, and Denzel Ward basically tackles him here. Sutton never has a shot at it. Yeah, no, we were very small channel. It was just kind of something I was doing on my on the side, throwing some stuff out there, seeing if anything stuck. But yeah, I think that's like quadrupling my subs because of the raid. We've got 13 and a half minutes left in this third quarter here. We've got Marvin Mims in motion. Jaleel McLaughlin running up the middle. And he's stopped at the 40. So surprisingly, JP Bugs, I have not done anything on EA, but that is a very good topic. I should have done that, because I have plenty to say about how the Madden series has gone downhill. All right, we've got a 2nd and 1. Broncos at their own 41-yard line. Nix under center, hands it off. I believe it's McLaughlin again, and gets blown up in the backfield. Loss of 3 yards. But yeah, I used to be a big time Madden player, but now I haven't played. Oh, NFL Street, I've never played that game, but I heard it was a lot of fun. More of an arcade style game. I've played NFL Blitz, but yeah, Madden, I think the last one I bought was Madden 21, and it was so glitchy, I just couldn't. I couldn't support the game anymore. And Bo Nix on 3rd and 2. Throws intended for Vele. Looks like it's incomplete. Broken up by Greg Newsome. And we've got 4th and 2. Incomplete pass there. And now we've got a punt by the Broncos. Bounces at the 20. And is down at about the 23-yard line by the Broncos. So we'll see the Browns next. We've got the Broncos leading the Browns 21-17 in the third quarter, 11 minutes, 59 seconds left. You're listening to my live reactions here on the Dustytron channel. Yeah, that KC game. I was watching it I saw them down like 27-19, and I wasn't able to see the final drive. I had to make an errand or whatnot, and my friends texted me. It's like, oh my gosh, they got the touchdown, they got the 2-point conversion. I'm like, how much time is left? Minute and a half. Mahomes is getting the field goal, and I mean, sure enough, Mahomes got the field goal. I will show the jersey again. I feel like I don't want to wear the blue jersey because it kind of goes weird against the green screen effect, because when I pull it up, you see it kind of like blends through a little bit. But yeah, that is the Peppers jersey right here. But yeah, maybe next stream I'll put on a blue one. Actually, yeah. The Panthers, I think, are going to wear black against the Eagles. I'm not really sure yet. But yeah, I was watching the Bucks game, and I actually had a moment of false hope there. I'm like, okay, we got the lead. There are 30 seconds left, and it's possible that we could get this. We could hold on to it. But I was like, oh my gosh, we let them go. To be fair, they had all their timeouts. But yeah, they were able to go down the field in 30 seconds and get a 51-yard field goal or whatever it was. It was ridiculous. All right, Browns have the ball now. It looks like it's a 6-yard run for Nick Chubb. Yeah, and it's crazy that I didn't realize how high Peppers was on the sack list, but I believe he's number 5 on the sack list. All right, 2nd and 3 at the 31-yard line. Winston under center, rolls out, throws, it's incomplete. All right, yeah, threw the flat, couldn't complete it. We've got a 3rd and 3 for the Browns. And that might have been, looks like they called the play dead. There was a flag. Thought it might have been offsides for a second. But with them calling the play dead, looks like it's probably more of a false start. Looks like it's actually a delay a game, actually. Oh, that's unfortunate. On a 3rd and 3, you got to delay a game. Yeah, no, that was crazy. The 1-15 season to 7-9, and then the year after the 7-9, they got to the Super Bowl. So you do start to see that incremental process. So I think if Carolina can get to like 500 next year, we might be able to see them build off something. And the NFC South is weak, so we might be competitive before we know it. Winston throws, it's a short pass. That's not going to get it done on third down to Jamari Thrash. It's only a 2-yard gain, and they're going to have to punt. As we wind under 11 minutes, Thursday Night Football, I saw the matchup for Packers and Lions there. I'm tempted to do it. I have not decided if I'm doing it yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards doing it. And there's the kick. It's going to be downed at about the 7-yard line. But yeah, I think that Packers-Lions game, it's in Detroit. Yeah, because they played each other last time, and Detroit kind of destroyed them in Green Bay, which I think is concerning, because Green Bay, you kind of have the whole outdoor wintry mix advantage to your team, because I think it was bad weather in that game too, and the Lions just owned them. Okay, JP Bugs, I do. I do have a Sam Mills jersey. It took me a while to find one because I don't want to pay through the wazoo on eBay to find one, but I did find one once. I have a white Sam Mills jersey. That's tough working weekend, Steve. Yeah, Sam, I think I'll try to do the Thursday one. We've had a good night here, so I could see myself doing that Thursday stream. All right, Nix has it, 1st and 10, throws it deep, but kind of weird miscommunication play. Sutton stopped running for it around the 40-yard line. Incomplete pass. But yeah, there's a part of me that's thinking of trying to get a jersey from every team, but I kind of focused on the Panthers for a little bit, building up them, and I've found some teams here and there. I don't really have too many jerseys from other teams, but we'll see. Oh, Justin Tucker, what is his problem this year? He was always so accurate, and now he's just missing field goals left and right. All right, Nix has the ball again. Little jittery in the backfield there. Gets it to his check down. Looks like for about 3. Not quite sure who caught that. And there is a flag on the play. See what the officials say that the ruling is here. And they're calling a personal foul on the offense. Still 3rd down. So I did have the Broncos receivers Vele in one of my leagues. Yep, nope, that is not going to do it. I am going to lose that matchup. Yeah, the other guy had Njoku. Njoku has a touchdown catch in this game. And this is also a league where I had McCaffrey, and he just came back from IR. Didn't play that well, wasn't putting up huge games, and is going to be out for the season now. So that was unfortunate. It was an auction league where I used most of my budget to get him, too. All right, we've got a 3rd and 11. Nixon shotgun. Throws it deep. Oh, he's got Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Broncos. I want to say that that's an 89-yard touchdown. Oh, officially it's 93. 93-yard touchdown. Wow, a busted coverage there. Oh, so JP, you think that it's his leg power that's causing him to be less accurate? All right, the extra point is good. And we have got the Broncos get the lead back up to 11. It is 28-17. Broncos over the Browns. You are listening to my live reactions here on the Dustytron channel. As we await the Browns to do their next drive. Let's take a look at a few of the comments here. But yeah, Sam, what do you think about the Lions? I'm pumped that the Lions are doing well this year. The Lions have always been in my top 5 teams. I kind of annually rank all 32, but this year I didn't do it. I just kind of have in my head what my top 10 are and what my least favorite teams are. Since I'm a Panthers fan, I must confess that my least favorite team is the Denver Broncos. Obviously, that's because of Super Bowl 50. My second least favorite team is the Patriots, and that's because of Super Bowl 38. And then kind of at the bottom there, I despise Dallas. I don't like the Eagles. I don't like the Ravens. But that's kind of... I'm a secondary Giants fan because I grew up in New York. So I didn't like Super Bowl 35. I was actually... The connection there a little bit is that the Panthers' first quarterback, Kerry Collins, went over to the Giants and then took them to the Super Bowl. Now, granted, in retrospect, I know that wasn't Kerry Collins' doing getting them to the Super Bowl. He was kind of a game manager quarterback. It was the Giants having a really good defense that got them there. But yeah, I was following the Giants more closely because the old Panthers quarterback was on the Giants. But growing up in New York and only having an antenna for football, I got to watch the Giants every weekend. It was the Giants, the Jets, and the Bills, and then sometimes we'd get the Patriots. So kind of a boring lineup. Yeah, I think that would be really cool if Goff could get the ring, and then you look back at that trade for Stafford and Goff, and you basically say, hey, this is one of the most even trades in football history. Like, both teams who got the quarterback won a Super Bowl. And Lions, oh my gosh, they should have gotten to the NFC. They should have gotten to the Super Bowl last year. Just they ran out of gas against the 49ers. And I know a lot of people criticize Dan Campbell for saying, oh, he was too aggressive. He was going for it when he could have kicked the field goals. I kind of liked it. It's when you have that identity, and I kind of relate to it with what Riverboat Ron used to do with the Carolina Panthers. When that's your identity, you stick with your identity. Because when you start doubting your identity, you start losing your identity. And I feel like a lot of people on the Lions rallied around that identity of being super aggressive, and they bought into what Dan Campbell was doing. So I think he had to do that and not be conservative in the NFC Championship game. And yeah, they ultimately died by that tactic, but I really think that it's carried over to this year, and they are just that aggressive, they are that efficient, and they are really bought into what Dan Campbell's trying to do. And fun fact, Dan Campbell used to be a tight end on the early 2000s Giants. So I actually way back, here we do have Jameis Winston throwing long. Oh my gosh, Jerry Jeudy wide open, and he is going to take it all the way for a 70-yard touchdown. So 2 huge pass plays back-to-back by both quarterbacks. And we've got ourselves a bit of a crazy game here. I want to say pretty much ever since we had the Grossi Perna raid, this game has gone kind of cuckoo. And that's just a blown coverage by the Broncos. They just don't track him down. He runs right by the corner. The safety doesn't take him, and he's just there, and Winston gets him this time. And thanks for joining, Steve. And stay tuned to the channel. I'll probably do another one of these. Yeah, Rivera in Washington was tough. I don't think he was really put in a winning situation here. A winning situation there. We do have the 2-point attempt coming here. Jerry Jeudy moves in motion. Winston in the shotgun. Back to throw. Throwing quick. Going for Jeudy again, and he's got it, and they make it a 3-point game. Aggressive play call there, but it plays out. And the Browns have cut the lead to 3. We have got 28-25 Broncos over the Browns here in the third quarter. Yeah, and I don't remember exactly what happened. I think ownership changed. They were losing. And when ownership changes, it's an inevitability that they're going to bring in their new guys. And that's kind of what happened when Tepper took over. Rivera was starting to not win as much with the Panthers. And then Tepper came in, and yeah, they basically said, hey, we want to do things our way. And he hires Matt Rule, and we know how well that went. But yeah, Jerry Jeudy with a long touchdown pass. He's having an impressive game here against his former team. Yeah, I feel like Ron Rivera at least was able to get the defense straight. The Commanders, I mean, they were a mess. We're always going to be a mess, but the defense did improve under him, and he's a defensive-minded coach. Now, I think it is interesting that they went with Dan Quinn as their coach this year, because he's another defensive-minded coach. And from what I've seen, the Commanders' defense isn't anything that special this year, but their offense is taking off, and that might be... Oh, why am I blanking on his name right now? The old coach of the Cardinals, who's now their offensive coordinator. Oh, I am. This is for shame for me. Why am I blanking on that? Commanders current OC. Oh, okay. Offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury. That's it. How did I forget that name? But yeah, some people are crediting it with Cliff Kingsbury's scheme that he's drawing up for Jaden Daniels. And maybe he's doing something similar with Kyler Murray, because that was working for a while. All right, the Broncos are taking over at their own 30. This game started very slow, but has picked up. Jaleel McLaughlin to the left side and breaks free. Teams just deciding not to play defense anymore. But we do have a flag, and we usually see a big hole open up on a toss with a flag. It's generally offensive holding. 9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter. It is indeed holding on the offense. Yeah, you kind of can't hold the player when they're trying to release on the edge there. That's a good call. All right, Nick's in the backfield. Nick's back to throw. Throws. It's incomplete, but we've got a flag. That might be interference on Ward. Oh, it's on the Browns, actually. Oh, 2 flags. The penalty's offside, and they're going to redo the down. So it looked like, I think, an illegal shift and pass interference. So we've got 1st and 20 for the Broncos. No, I did not expect a shootout on this one either. I expected what I saw in the first half when it was like 10-7. Knicks back to throw. Throws it deep. And he can't hit Troy Franklin. Incomplete. Overthrown. But yeah, when you're throwing that long pass, it is better to throw it farther than throw it underneath and get it intercepted and hope that your wide receiver can run underneath it. So Nick's trying to give his wide receiver a shot there, but Franklin not able to get there. All right, Nix takes it on 2nd and 20. Throws a check down. Looks like it's Javonte Williams, who, yeah, as I've been saying, his career's kind of fallen off the rails here. Once a highly touted running back coming out of North Carolina, coming out with his teammate Michael Carter as well, and Michael Carter didn't really make a name for himself in the league either, so unfortunately, both of those running backs, not much came of them. Nick's back to throw on 3rd and 17, throws it short to Kroll, and it looks like he's going to get to the 30, but that is way short of the first down. I think he had 10 more yards to go. Yes, I agree with that. They underthrow. It's almost like they're trying. Oh, it looks like there might have been a botched kick there, but the Browns recover it, and they will maintain possession. But yeah, no, I hear you, JP Bugs, there. Like, it's ridiculous. You underthrow the ball, and you almost feel like on 3rd down, maybe teams are just trying to do that. Send a receiver long, underthrow the ball, try to get them to run back in the defender and draw the flag, which is why I really think that there was a rule proposition. I can't remember if it was this year or the year before where they were going to change the pass interference rule, where if you basically, if you got the foul, but it wasn't like you purposely tripped the receiver, it was a 15-yard penalty instead of a spot foul. And I think I like that a lot more, with the caveat that if you flagrantly do it, then it is a spot foul. Because then you would just see, oh, if a guy's beat, he's just going to tackle the receiver, so it's a 15-yard penalty instead of a touchdown. So I think that that's how they have to do this, because some of these offensive PI calls are just getting ridiculous now. But that's a rule change I would like to see implemented, unlike this dynamic kickoff, which just basically makes the kickoff completely moot. So yeah, for those who are on the live stream now, what is your opinion of the dynamic kickoff? Does it make the game any better, or should we just eliminate the kickoff altogether? Curious to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, like a 40-yard... A penalty that literally flips the entire field when you're at your own 20-yard line is too big of a penalty, especially when some of them are a bit tic-tacky. But yeah, once again, thanks for everyone who came over from Perna's stream or Grossi's stream and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. This is literally my first night running a stream, so it turned out to be a pretty good night to choose, I guess. Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe just make it a 5-yard penalty. The problem you have to actually, we've got Browns play coming up here. 1st and 10 from their own 29. Winston back to throw. Throws a screen pass to Chubb. He's got some daylight. Missed the tackle there. And is able to pick up about 19 to the 49-yard line. Yeah, I agree with that, Sam. It's like if you're going to prioritize safety, just take the kick out. Like, if you think the play is too dangerous, just give the teams the ball at the 30-yard line and call it a day. Because you're literally just kicking it out of the back of the end zone now and just wasting people's time. Kadarius Toney in motion. Oh my goodness. Kadarius Toney can't do anything. The ball was a little slow by Winston there, but he's got to catch that. He had some space to run. But yeah, JP Bugs, I think the only problem you run into with that is people, if they know they're beat, they purposely do the penalty because they know they can give up the yardage. So I think that's why they have the automatic first down in on there. But I think defensive hands to the face, that could be something where, I don't know, it's like an unnecessary roughness penalty. That's definitely a more player safety focused one, I think. All right, Winston hands it back to Jerome Ford in the backfield. Zach Allen misses him, but he only gets it to the line of scrimmage. Looks like Locke brings him down. Oh, that's cool. You've done a football podcast before? Yeah, I haven't really done too much stuff yet, but definitely something to consider going forward. All right, Winston in the shotgun. Throws it to Njoku, who's tackled at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 10. I don't understand why teams do short passes. Like that's literally just a swing pass. And there's no blockers out in front of them. How is that going to get you the first down? It's basically a give-up play. But the Browns will have to punt as we wind down close to 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Broncos still lead by 3, 28-25. Nice. Live draft. Do you mean like fantasy football drafts? And it was a good punt by the Browns. They down it at about the 1-yard line. But yeah, as far as fantasy football goes, I am in a lot of leagues. I must confess, this year has been a little bit of one of my not as active years. I've had a little bit of trouble following all the injuries and whatnot. But I've still got some teams that are doing decently. Some teams, the season's lost, but that's kind of how it goes. Generally, half of my teams make the playoffs, half don't. Nix back to throw. Oh, he's got a defender in his face. Throws it at the feet of his... They called him a running back. I think he's a fullback. But he had the touchdown run earlier. Oh my goodness, come on. Somebody. It was Michael Burton. They list him as a running back, but he lined up as a fullback. Oh, NFL draft. Nice. All right, we've got Bo Nix rolling out to his right. Throws. Oh, he's got Sutton at the 30, and he gets it all the way to the 36. And a first down for Denver. As he walks out of bounds, as we wind close to 5.5 minutes left on the third quarter clock. Yeah, it's an immediate rollout. Nix knows where he's looking, fires it for Sutton, and yeah, that's Sean Payton draws up these play calls, isolates one side of the field. Nix knows where he's looking, and he executes it perfectly. So it's interesting you talk about it from a Ravens perspective, JP Bugs, because you've had pretty high draft picks these last few years. We've got Audric Estime with a run here. Looks like he picks up about 7. Oh, so I was talking about this early in the stream. What do people think about these white alternates for the Broncos? I love following NFL uniforms and sports uniforms for that matter, but I'm definitely more of an NFL fan, so I follow everything with NFL uniforms and pretty much everything NFL. But yeah, I know a lot about the history of uniforms and stuff, and I was following these, and I really thought the Broncos set was uninspired this year. Jaleel McLaughlin gets the handoff here, goes towards the left and cuts it back off Streaman. Oh my gosh, he got a big gain on it, getting it all the way to about the 37 of the Browns. But yeah, when I first saw them revealed, I didn't really like their helmet. They made it matte. I'm definitely more of a gloss helmet person than a matte helmet person. And they did that weird triangle stripe on the top, which I just didn't think looked particularly good. And I saw a tweet which kind of summed it up the best, where they basically were saying, this Broncos redesign looks as if it was like a Disney show that had to call them the Stallions, but they had to pretend like they were the Broncos, but couldn't use any of their word marks or logos, and they called themselves the Stallions. Like, it was so generic. And I think I still feel that way about it, but I will say that their orange combo has looked a little bit better than I expected from what I saw with their preseason images. So overall, it's not as bad as I initially thought it was, but I still think it's a pretty uninspired look. And personally, I do not like navy blue, and this setup does navy blue with a white helmet, so it just doesn't really do much for me. All right, we've got another handoff to Jaleel McLaughlin, and he's gonna get it all the way to the 20, and another Broncos first down. They are in the red zone. This is crazy here. Jaleel McLaughlin getting the load of carries here. I'm assuming Sean Payton's just going with a hot hand approach here. None of the other running backs have really done anything. Jaleel McLaughlin getting something going on the ground here, showing some burst, getting through those holes, and picking up some first downs. Oh yeah, the Bumblebee Steelers uniforms. I remember Dave Damashek actually liked those when those came out, but I was like, why? They're so ugly. Those, and there's the Packers did something similar where they had like those circle numbers and they had like the brown helmet. It was awful. I mean, I guess I understand what they're trying to do, and I think I would say the Century Red Giants uniforms this year were kind of in that same vein of being bad, but I kind of liked how their helmet looked with the metallic blue with the red stripes on it, but the rest of the jersey, terrible. So I need to know more about the Keebler Elf's history, because apparently it's deep into Browns lore. The history of the team. Jaleel McLaughlin gets a toss to the outside, picks up a yard, and we're going to have a 3rd and 2 for the Broncos. This would be important for them to pick up some more points. After we had that flurry of points at the beginning of the third, we really haven't had much. Okay, so you like all whites. I hear some people complain about the all whites, that they're just uncreative and uninspired, and I tend to agree. I agree that sometimes the look can be clean, but if you wear them too often, it's just nothing that special. I will say I like the all-white Vikings uniforms because they actually changed up the number font to make it look kind of like an icicle on it, and they're going really with that like Winter Warrior theme, so I liked that one along with the chrome silver face mask, so I think that could work really well. Yeah, the Packers throwback was terrible. But yeah, kind of what the Panthers have never really had a uniform redesign, and honestly, it's a pretty good design. I like the color scheme, but I would say that the numbers are out of date. They're just standard block numbers. I think we could make our uniform a lot more sleek, and there's parts of our uniform that try to do that, like the shoulder stripes and our pants stripes. But yeah, we've got Bo Nix here at the 11-yard line. 3rd and 2, drops back to pass. Oh, looks like he's in trouble. He threw it up, and it's incomplete. Little bit of a risky throw there. 4th and 2, and it'll be interesting to see what Denver does here. Are they going to just take the 3 points, or are they going to try to keep pressing for a touchdown? Sean Payton might get aggressive here to try to take control of the game. But yeah, I would, with the new 3 helmet shell rule, which I am so in favor of. Oh, looks like they might be going for it here. I wonder if they're just going to try to draw them off sides with a quick count. 10 seconds on the play clock. Might be what they're doing. Doesn't really seem to be in any hurry to snap it. The Browns aren't going to pull a Washington Commanders and jump like they did against the Steelers. It's a flag for delay a game, and it looks like the Broncos are going to take the field goal. Okay, so for the Lions, would you prefer them to make like the blue helmet their best helmet? Their primary helmet? Because I'm kind of in the same boat with Carolina where they have a silver helmet too, and I kind of want them to make a black helmet primary, have a blue be their alternate helmet, and then we do silver as a throwback and wear our old 95 logos with it. That's kind of what I would do for a Panthers rebrand. All right, we've got the kick from Will Lutz, and it goes through the middle, and we've got some points scored with 1 minute and 52 seconds left. In the 3rd quarter, the Broncos take a 6-point lead, 31-25. Thank you for listening to my live reactions here on the Dustytron channel. Yeah, there's not enough gold in the league. The Jaguars are actually a team that had gold and got rid of it with their redesigns. Back in the 90s, they had like gold trim on their like sleeves and whatnot, and I think they had it as part of the outline on their numbers too. And then they just got rid of it to like streamline the jerseys, and it looked a lot worse until they did that awful color rush thing where if they had actually done gold and not like Dijon mustard yellow, it would have worked. But who knows? Maybe they'll rebrand and kind of do what some teams are doing with going a more 90s nostalgia look. Like I feel like the Browns have done it, the Jets have done it, the Lions have done it. Their rebrand really harkens back to more of their 80s, 90s look with the blue face mask and everything. So I feel like some of the teams are starting to go away from, they modernized with the Nike rebrand, and now they're kind of going back to, hey, maybe we had it right the first time. Let's go back to what the fans liked. So if the Jaguars do a redesign and they kind of bring back the old classic 90s look, that's another one that I think could work out pretty cool. But yeah, I would say another one of probably my favorite helmet in the league, like I would say, is the current Rams helmet. I love that blue chrome helmet with the highlight yellow on it. It just pops so much. I would probably say that that's my favorite helmet in the league right now. Their jersey leaves a little bit to be desired because the number font is weird and that bone color jersey is weird. I think they now use that as an alternate, and their white uniform is the away that they always use. All right, we've got Jameis Winston now. He hands off to Jerome Ford on 1st and 10, gets about 1 yard. That's a good question, JP Bugs. Why would anyone wear urine-colored pants? Although the Ravens did it that one time when Jimmy Clausen was their quarterback. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know. Actually, I probably can't share my screen yet. But I can probably share a photo. We'll do that at commercial. All right, we got Winston. Throws to Njoku. Gets it to the 38-yard line, so they're going to have about a 3rd and 2 on this play. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Ravens yellow pants. Awful. All right, it's a toss to Jerome Ford. He's trying to get to the outside, trying to get to that first down. I don't think he got there. He's about a half a yard short. And it is indeed 4th and 1. Oh, and the Browns, they're lining up. They might go for this. Oh, that looked like a false start, but Jameis Winston pushes forward, and it looks like he got enough. I'd be very surprised if they do not call a false start on the Broncos there. Or, sorry, the Browns. Yeah, I don't know what the Ravens were thinking with those yellow pants, but it was a bad idea, and there's a reason they have not worn them since. And I remember that game because Jimmy Clausen was their quarterback, and we drafted him with a second-round draft pick in 2010. Yeah, exactly. It should be an accent color. And sometimes your secondary color can work as kind of a primary color. The Panthers rolled out a new uniform combo this week. Black jersey with blue pants. They had never done that before. And I was like, oh yeah, I think this kind of works. I had done it in Madden before, and I think it did work. But I was like, oh, they're never going to do it. They always wear their gray silver pants with black. But they've been experimenting a little bit more. They've been wearing their black helmet more. They've been introducing the blue pants more. It makes me feel like a rebrand could be coming. They're kind of trying to gauge fan interest in some of these new combinations they're doing. But yeah, I think that the blue pants definitely interesting. But I personally think that it worked for Carolina this week. I know some fans were mad that it should have been the black helmet with it, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, no, Jimmy Clausen started a couple of games for you. It wasn't a lot, but he did. Actually, fun fact, his wiki page on Wikipedia actually has him in a Ravens jersey. Yeah, it looks like he played only one season there. He was on Chicago and started a couple of games there as well. I remember him being pretty highly touted out of Notre Dame, but so was Deshaun Kaiser, so... Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so they do give the Browns the first down. We are now in the fourth quarter. And that's a run up the middle for Nick Chubb for about 1 yard. We've got a 6-point lead for the Broncos. Yeah, I don't know how that was not a false start call on the Browns. It clearly looked like a false start, but they gave it to him. Yeah, I am a really big fan of those black jerseys that the Lions brought back this year with the blue numbers and the blue helmet. I think it works great. It's one of the best uniforms in the league. All right, from the 41-yard line, 2nd and 9. Winston back to throw. He's got a guy in the backfield, and he can't get rid of the ball and takes like a 10-yard sack. That is Bonito, I believe. He's the guy who had the pick six. Nick Bonito. Yep, Nick Bonito got the sack. All right, and we got 3rd and 23 as we approach 13 and a half minutes in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I don't know if they have it slated to where again, Sam. We'll have to see. All right, Winston, back to pass, throws it short to Njoku. They're just trying to get a couple yards closer, gain back some of that yardage, make the punt a little better. So that's a give-up play there. They get to 4th and 10. And the Browns are going to have to punt again. So yeah, if the Broncos can go down the field, get another field goal, they can make this a 2-possession game. And that punt bounces into the end zone, so that'll come out to the 20, I believe, under the new NFL rules. Now we'll see if the Broncos can pull it off. Browns kind of fighting for their lives here. Touchdown really makes the game hard to get, but we've seen this game kind of go back and forth. When one team starts scoring, the other team responds. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, I know. It seems like the Browns are too little too late on the season right now. Oh, you're thinking maybe Thursday night they do it. So there's a website called the NFL Uniform Database where they're really good about staying up to date about uniform news. So let's see what they have the Lions wearing. They might not have anything slated yet. Okay, yeah, so it looks like they're wearing their blue uniforms. They haven't announced the pants yet. All right, so we've got Bo Nix starting from the 20-yard line. This is a big drive for the Broncos. Little jittery. Oh, he goes long. Doesn't look like he has it. Oh, it's intercepted by Denzel Ward. And they rule him down where he intercepted it, and I don't know if that's the best approach the Broncos could have taken there. They throw it up, and it gets intercepted. But yeah, in case you're interested, this is a site that I follow. Gridiron Uniform. They are really good about keeping track of everybody's uniforms here. Oh, and it does look like we're at Philadelphia this week. Yeah, I don't see us winning that game. I know, that's so weird because usually the Steelers and the Ravens do dunk on the Browns, but the Browns pulled off victories against them this year. All right, we've got Winston back under center. Can he lead the team down the field for points? Throws to a wide open Jerry Jeudy. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. He gets it all the way to about the 37 of the Broncos. Oh, it's against the Bills that they're going to do it. Nice. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. And it also looks like that's the same week that the Jaguars are going to roll out their classic uniforms, too. All right, Winston back to throw. Throws. His ball is batted at the line. Incomplete. We'll be at second down. So what a turn of events here. The Broncos try to do a deep shot, get intercepted, and then the Browns come right back with a huge play of their own and flip the field. This game has kind of been crazy. Such a seesaw affair. Oh, also looks like that week the Vikings are wearing their Winter Warrior uniforms too. A lot of weeks of alternates and throwbacks there. All right, Winston, hands off to Chubb. Chubb trying to push forward, and he's down after about 2 yards. Yeah, I guess that's a fair point, Sam, because or JP Bugs, because the other one was, the other time they wore it was on Monday Night Football against the Seahawks, so that was a nationally televised game. They want people to see those jerseys. I wonder if they'll try to flex that game. That's a really good game to have. Looks like it's in the 4 o'clock slot right now. Maybe they'll flex it to Sunday night. Green Bay and Seattle's already there. Maybe not. All right, we got Winston with a 3rd and 8 from the 35. He drops back, throws, and he's got Woods to the 21. First down, Browns. Oh, did he actually curse the Broncos? I haven't gotten to watch that episode this week. I missed it. When I was traveling for Thanksgiving, I didn't watch that episode. All right. Winston under center with a fresh set of downs at the 21-yard line of the Broncos. This is a big drive for the Browns. Benito hits him in the backfield. His pass is wobbly and it's incomplete. Yeah, it's tough that you lost Hutchinson. And I was, I saw, I think it was, who's it? It's your linebacker, number 34 with the blonde, long hair. Why am I blanking on his name right now? His last name starts with an A, but he's a big part of that defense too, and he's got a broken arm. Oh, Perno, why would you curse your own team? All right, Winston. Oh, he gets knocked away there. 3rd and 10. I feel like Perna bends the rules so much. Oh, Anzalone, that's right. That's who it is. Yeah, and they were playing him against the Jaguars when that game was way out of reach for Jacksonville. So that, I feel, was Dan Campbell. I know you're trying to run up the score a bit, but why are you still playing your starters when you're up by 40? Like, maybe bring your starters back in if you start to let the game slip away, but don't risk the health of your starters in that situation. And isn't that kind of what he did, too, when they lost Aiden Hutchinson against the Cowboys? Because they destroyed the Cowboys in that game. I don't know exactly when in the game that happened, but we've got 3rd down. Winston calling signals. Looks like he wasn't able to get the play in time. We'll see if it's a delay a game or if it's a timeout. Looking like it's a delay a game. They've thrown the flag. And it is indeed a delay a game. They're going to have a 3rd and 15 now. Making their life harder. But, I mean, they can get a field goal, and it will cut it down to a 3-point game. But if you're the Browns, I think you really want to get the touchdown here. But yeah, you might see a give up play here to just kind of get themselves closer. Play clock ran really down low again. Throws long. Oh, he got Judy. Judy got the first down for a 17-yard pickup. Nearly a pick, but he's able to get it by the defender, and Judy's able to slip it and get it past the first down line. Wow, that was close. Defender comes rushing in. Can't get there in time, though. Gets to Judy, and he's able to get it past the first down marker. Yeah, I feel like the Lions do rally around their players, so it does just make them play harder. All right, Winston, kind of a botched RPO, but is still able to find a way to get 4 yards out of it. Second and goal as we wind under 9.5 minutes left in regulation. Is this one going to go into overtime? It's been crazy. Oof, yeah, that's rough getting all those injuries on defense, especially when they're not as big names, but you know they're important role players. Oh, Winston throws to a wide open Chubb in the flat, and he gets into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. And we are tied at 31 with the Browns having an opportunity to take the lead. Yeah, I really think after the Hutchinson injury, getting Zadarius Smith was big. There was a lot of talk you were trying to get Myles Garrett, just the price was too high. I think Max Crosby was another one you were going after. All right, so Dustin Hopkins going to try to kick the extra point to give him the lead here. Oh, Reader's questionable? Yeah, I remember him playing on the Bengals. And it's through the upright, so the Browns take the lead by 1, 32-31. We've got an interesting one coming down the pike here. The last 8 minutes and 57 seconds in regulation. We've got a 1-point game. Browns 32, Broncos 31. You're listening to my live reactions on the Dusty Tron channel. Yeah, and I can understand where the Raiders are coming at with that. They're trying to get draft capital for the future, so they're not going to ship off Crosby for cheap. They want to be able to build their team going forward. So that makes sense. Oh, the Bengals defense is so bad. I don't understand how it got to be so bad. I saw there was a clip of Jamar Chase. A reporter asked him this week, it's like, so is it an expectation that you have to score on every drive? And he's trying so hard not to say yes to that. He's like, yeah, that's kind of our mindset, is I think what he said. But yeah, like literally, if the Bengals do not score every possession they have the ball, their defense gives up like 40 plus points. So how are they going to win? The numbers that Chase and Burrow are putting up this year, it's ridiculous. They're doing great, but they've got nothing to show for it because their defense has just been so atrocious. All right, so for those of you who are in the chat, kind of like little past mid-season predictions, what are you saying for the Super Bowl right now? I think I've got Lions-Chiefs. It's either Lions-Chiefs or Lions-Ravens is what I'm going with. I think the Lions will end up beating the Eagles if it comes to that. I really think the Lions are a team of destiny and that they'll get to the Super Bowl this year. But yeah, I think the Chiefs just somehow find ways to churn out games and they're gonna get to the Super Bowl. Whether or not they win it is a different story. But we could be looking at the first Super Bowl for Detroit this year. I really do get the vibe that they are a team of destiny this year. Oh, I didn't see that call. I just saw that the score was getting ridiculous, but then they came back at the end and then their defense of course couldn't do anything. So, you kind of see NFL fans all over the place. I lived in New Hampshire for a little bit. I knew a Minnesota Vikings fan out there. It's just kind of how life takes people certain places. So, yeah, I know. It's like you want to think that Buffalo can do it, but it's probably going to be the Chiefs. Jaleel McLaughlin up the right side for about 2 yards. So the Browns will have about a 2nd and 8 here. Oh, wow. Oh boy, yeah, Chiefs and Steelers. That'll definitely be interesting. All right, Nick's back to throw on a 2nd and 7. Throws. He's got Sutton. Sutton on the sideline trying to cut it back up. Gets it about 3 more yards from where he caught it. And the Broncos are past midfield as we approach 8 minutes left in regulation. Oh, that's awesome that you wear your Detroit gear to work. Got to represent your team. All right, we have a stoppage on the field. Not quite sure what's going on. Might be an injury timeout for Delpit. All right, so it looks like they've resolved everything. It's a 1st and 10 for Nix. He hands it off to Jaleel McLaughlin, who gets about 2 yards. 2 very hard-fought yards. Looks like the stoppage was because Delpit was being examined for a concussion. So that was what the previous stoppage was for. 2nd and 8, Broncos at the Browns 46. Throws, gets it to Adam. Nope, that's Kroll. And that's a 1st down for Denver. They are definitely in field goal range. Yeah, I would agree with that, JP Bugs. I mean, those are the two clearest. I mean, maybe you could say, like, Green Bay as a dark horse could make some noise, but I don't see Seattle doing anything. I don't see the Falcons doing anything. Maybe if the Bucks win that division instead of the Falcons, they could create an upset. Never underestimate Baker in a big spot. maybe Minnesota, but I think that they're just kind of bland. Oh, here's Jaleel McLaughlin. He gets about 8 yards on first down. Gonna have a 2nd and 2. As we approach 6 minutes left in regulation, Broncos trying to run out as much as the clock as they can. Okay, they give him 9. It's 2nd and 1. Yeah, and really, if you're Denver, you want to run this clock down as much as you can and just set yourself up for a field goal to win. They could do that. Nix throws a quick pass on. It's behind Vele. That's going to stop the clock and give him a 3rd and 1. But yeah, I would say Lions and Eagles are definitely on a collision course right now. It's really interesting because it really does align with Saquon Barkley exploding on the Eagles. That kind of led to their rebound because they were looking terrible at the beginning of the year, or they were like just barely winning games. Because I picked and bet on the Bucks to beat them in the playoffs last year. All right, Nix throws. He's got his receiver in Sutton, and he gets a 1st down for a gain of about 7. Broncos continuing to move the ball closer and closer to the end zone. Yeah, just a simple out route by Sutton. Gets the quick yardage there. Corner's playing a bit too far back. And they're able to pick up the 1st. Okay, I actually like the Bills and Lions because, yeah, like you're saying, someone would actually get their 1st Super Bowl ring. That would be something I'd root for. All right, we've got a handoff to Audric Esme. He's buried in the backfield for a loss of 2. Oh, Bills and Vikings, the loser bowl. That would be hilarious. Maybe they'd find some way to make it like a ridiculous... I mean, you can't tie in the Super Bowl, but maybe we'd go into something stupid like 4 overtimes because nobody would want to win. Sam, I'm really down on the Texans. They could barely beat Jacksonville this week. I think that they're kind of going down. All right, we've got Nix. Nix is going to scramble up the middle. Didn't see anything and slides after about 6 yards, getting it to about the 14-yard line of the Browns as we continue to the clock continues to wind as we approach 4 minutes left in the game. Yeah, you almost wonder a little bit if that was a designed run, like a quick drop back, and then he just goes forward because the line purposely split apart and gave him a hole up the middle. All right, so we've got a 3rd and 6 for Denver. This is going to be telling to see if they can continue to run clock or they got to just take that field goal. Marvin Mims in motion on the right side. They bring a lot of players. Oh, and Mims couldn't quite get there. Looked like he might have had the blocks for a second, but the Browns are able to get him down, and this is most likely going to be a field goal for the Broncos. Yeah, sophomore slumps are really a thing. It's interesting because I feel like, oh, the Broncos have their offense out on the field. I wonder if they're going to just run the clock and take the delay of game and then the field goal. Maybe see if the Browns jump. It's not a terrible strategy here. I'd be surprised if they snapped this. They do call a timeout, it looks like. They only have 1 remaining. Yeah, Stroud, I feel like he was one of those players who started out fast and then NFL defense got film on him and were able to figure him out a bit. I think it's also interesting to note that he was a lot worse when he didn't have Nico Collins around. And he's been definitely getting a lot more passing yards since Nico Collins has come back. Yeah, Jared Goff, he's probably not going to win MVP. I think that shows more of the Lions' grit that they were able to come back after a 5 interception performance, because that was kind of ridiculous. All right, Lutz is kicking the field goal, and it is through the upright. With 2 minutes and 54 seconds left, the Browns take a 2-point lead. 34-32, Broncos over the Browns. I was not expecting this game to be anything more than maybe 20-13 or something like that, but we've gotten an exciting game here. I feel like there were just some defensive lapses here, some coverage breakdowns that led to big plays. I would say that the Marvin Mims touchdown was more like the Browns went for the ball, didn't get it, and then he streaks all the way to the end zone. But the Jerry Jeudy one, that was a total just busted coverage. Anywhere near him. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. I will say that I absolutely love the whole Sonic and Knuckles thing, because I grew up as a Sega Genesis kid, and I've been a Sonic fan my whole life. So I absolutely love that Sonic and Knuckles is totally a thing, and they're really playing into it. They even had a promo on Twitter with a tie-in to the third movie that's coming out. On their Twitter page, because they were CBS was showing the Thanksgiving game, so I thought that was a really fun thing that they did. So I love that they're just leaning into that, and apparently they both like it too. So it's they understand it, and it's just kind of a fun joke. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I've gained so much more respect for him after watching the Netflix receiver series. He puts in so much work, and he is so good at his craft. All right, we've got Winston. They're down 2, starting from their 30-yard line. And Winston can't get away from the Broncos, and he's sacked for a loss of 8. That is not a good way to start the drive. I saw the shoes. The shoes were awesome. But yeah, Winston, this is bad start to the drive. Can't take a sack here. All right, he's in shotgun now. 2nd and 18 from his own 22-yard line. Broncos bringing pressure again. Winston rolls out to the left, getting out of bounds, and picks up about 4 yards. So it's going to be about, so they say 6 yards, 3rd and 12. And he does get out of bounds, so that'll preserve some time before the 2-minute warning. But if you're the Browns and you don't get this here... oh boy, the rah that Perna does. Rah goes on way too long. All right, we've got Winston. And it's close to the first down marker. They're ruling it a catch. They rule it a catch. And I think he got it. What a catch by Elijah Moore. And that should keep the drive going as we are at the 2-minute warning. Broncos up 34-32. You're listening to my live reaction on the Dustytron channel. Yeah, I know some creators come out with stuff like that, but honestly, doing you can generate AI voice, but to get AI to sing is a lot of work. Yeah, it's weird though because it's like they had them in a 2nd and 18. You think they could hold them there. But yeah, the Browns only need a field goal, and the Broncos only have one timeout here. So the Browns control the clock. So they can run this as far down as they want, and they can have the field goal be the last play of the game. But they have to get there. We'll see what the Broncos defense can do. Who thinks that the Browns are going to win? I think that the Broncos are going to... Oh, it's hard to tell. I think Jameis can pull it off. I think he'll get them into field goal range, and the Browns are going to pull this one out. So I think that the Browns have, since they have the 3 timeouts and the Broncos only have 1, they'll be able to control the clock. So I think that the Browns have the advantage here, and they can kind of make that field goal the last play of the game, kind of depending if they're like on the edge of field goal range and they kind of decide they have to kick the field goal because they failed the 3rd down conversion. That might be enough time for the Browns. For the Broncos to respond. But if they get to the point where they're like past the 30 and they're able to run a couple of plays and run that clock because the Broncos can't stop it anymore, the field goal is going to be the last play of the game. Either way, we should be down for an exciting finish because even if the Browns don't call any other timeouts, they could technically turn the ball over and still get the ball back. Granted, their winning percentage goes way down if they do that, but it is still a possibility they could get the ball back if they turn the ball over on downs, turn it over, something like that. All right, so we've got Winston in the shotgun with Njoku and Ford to his right and left. He moves them onto the line. He's in the backfield by himself. And he's going to throw. Oh! Winston is intercepted, and nobody touched him. And the Broncos are going to take it for the touchdown, and that will put a dagger in it. Oh, my goodness. I just said that Winston was going to pull it off and lead him down the field. And that is not a take that is going to age well at all. Oh, Winston comes up with the turnovers when it hurts the most. And this is inexcusable by the Browns player, Elijah Moore there. How does he not touch him down? Now, it's going to be interesting to see if this stands because he did touch him as he was falling to the ground. Is that going to count? Or does he touch him? He might not touch him there. Elijah Moore needs to have more awareness there and get him down. His finger might touch his helmet. This is definitely... No, they rule it a touchdown. So the Browns kind of have to hope that Lutz misses this extra point. And he does not. It is a 9.2 possession lead for the Broncos. 41-32. Yeah, I know, for real. When you think that the Browns are really going to go down the field, yeah, he throws it inside. This is a bad pass by Winston. A great play by the cornerback, and good awareness by the quarterback to realize he has not been touched and get up and take it the rest of the way for a touchdown. And yeah, Winston, you get the big plays, but you get the boneheaded, terrible plays too. And that has been his legacy in the NFL. Famous Jameis strikes again. Indeed, the factory of sadness. Browns fans have been through so much. Oh, is that okay? I think if it lands outside of it, within the 20, it's okay. But Ford gets it to the 25, And so, really, the only chance the Browns have now, they could do one of two things. Maybe get downfield quick, kick a field goal, get it onside, hope for the touchdown. But they need to get 2 scores. They need a touchdown and a field goal at least. Oh my gosh, Vinny. I don't. He was having that season with the Jets right when I started watching football closely in '98. And I remember that '98 Jets team. I was pulling for them so hard because they were a lot of fun to watch with Curtis Martin, Keyshawn Johnson, and Vinny Testaverde. Came up short against the Broncos, though. Winston back to throw, throws to Njoku, and this isn't going to get anything done. He loses a yard on that play. And I don't understand that. Like, if you're going to try to win this game at all, I mean, that's a give-up play, and you're letting the clock run. You have to attack down the field if you're going to have any shot here. But so many teams do this at the end of games where they just don't play aggressive. Oh, Winston almost gets picked off again by Locke, but it falls through his hands. Yeah, that is a horrible pass. We are seeing just vintage Jameis coming out in the final. It pretty much, ever since I said he was going to lead that drive, he's thrown terrible passes. And Winston at the 25 here, minute 15 left in the game, not looking so good for the Browns. Throws it, oh, Njoku can't even hold on to the screen pass there. It's not a screen pass, it's a swing pass. Drops it. Would have only been like a 5-yard gain, but started running with it before he secured it. And now the Browns are at a 4th and 10. Jameis not too pleased with himself. Jameis in the backfield. Back to throw. Throws it over the middle. It's complete to Jerry Jeudy. Padding his stats a little bit here in garbage time. What a game by Jerry Jeudy, though. Okay, the Browns call a timeout. They're still trying to be competitive here, I guess. They're probably going for the try to get a field goal route. Yeah, he's almost had a 500-yard passing game. It's insane. But he's also thrown 2 pick sixes. Both of his interceptions led to Broncos touchdowns. And that's kind of the difference in this one. First and 10 from their own 41. Winston drops back. Throws. Elijah Moore couldn't complete it. Couldn't complete the process of the catch. It might have hurt his wrist on the way down. Yeah, never really had a good hold of it, and the ground jiggles it out. Winston setting up the offense. They come out with 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, all lined up as wide receivers, though. Winston drops back, has a decent pocket, throws it underneath to Ford, who's going to run. He better try to get out of bounds. Gets out of bounds at about the 38 of the Broncos with 50 seconds. They still have 2 timeouts, so this isn't out of the realm of possibility. But, yeah, it's pretty far-fetched. Pad those stats for Winston, see if he can get over 500. There's about 17 yards there, I think. So he's getting close. Winston back to pass. Throws it deep. He always got a shot. Oh, it's incomplete, but there's a flag. There is a flag as the Broncos interfered with Woods as he was trying to get the ball. And now you have an interesting situation because that puts the Browns at like the 1 yard line. I think you have to just try to get the touchdown here now. You do have 2 timeouts, so you could run the ball. Yeah, let's see if I can see what NFL.com says is the official number for yards. Okay, it's pass interference at the 2 yard line. Winston, they fake the handoff, throws. Oh my gosh! Winston throws another pick, and this one could go all the way as well. Oh, Judy trying to horse collar. But, oh my goodness, Jameis Winston with a 3rd pick threw it straight to the Broncos defender. And I jinxed him so bad. Jameis Winston's going to lead them down the field for the game-winning field goal. And what does he proceed to do? Throw a pick 6 and then throw another interception when his team actually had a chance there. You can't write this stuff. You can't make this up. This is ridiculous. But what a game we were treated to tonight. And this is what you have. I mean, he probably had 3 touchdown passes, and now he has 3 interceptions. So it's the perfect, like, the season he had the 30 touchdowns and the 30 picks. That's what you get from Jameis Winston. Bo Nix kneels it out. The Browns are not going to call their timeout, and this one is over. The clock runs down, and the final is Broncos 41, Browns 32. Broncos win their first and only game wearing their new white helmets. And this was a game that I know I'll remember for a while. Yeah, I wonder what Grossi's scriptwriter will have to say about this one. This one was ridiculous. But yeah, thank you for everyone who joined the stream. This was an amazing night. Thank you all, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm thinking that I'll probably be on here for the Packers and Lions on Thursday. I'm going to try to plan on that. Thank you, everyone, and I will talk to you later.